Those rumors kind of continued on. They didn't.
Hello everyone, how are you doing? Sorry my voice is a little iffy today, it's been wonky. I'm gonna get tested for coronavirus tomorrow, so let's hope that I'm not infected with the big Rona. We'll see what's gonna happen with that. Thank you to Big Booty 2012 for your 4-month subscription streak. Finally able to catch a stream, also 4 months, woot woot. Yeah, oh no, I know. We'll see what happens. If I die, remember me as I lived. Cheesy. So, today I wanted to talk about something a little bit different. Last week we started sort of a new series where, I look at people like DoomC and Midnight's Edge, all sorts of different YouTube channels that sort of push this like anti-SJW narrative in regard to pop culture. Now, something interesting has come out about DoomC, where potentially there's this BitChute account that exists that has no apparent connection to him, other than it seems to me relatively clear that it's him in a different costume and changing his voice in a slightly different way. So we're gonna listen to some audio clips, and I'm gonna have you guys judge, does this sound like the same person? Cotton Candy 903, have some bits, hope it isn't Rona, thank you. Mark on the bingo card, we got cheese, yeah. So let me turn this music off and we're gonna listen to some audio clips. And it's gonna be up to you guys to decide what you guys think, and we're gonna do some investigation. Seshimaru with 80 bits. So I looked up this Doomcock guy, and literally the first thing I saw was a tweet where he was berating a black guy for wearing a suit and comparing it to cultural appropriation. So this Nazi stuff wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. So I'm not even going to show you the video yet. I'm just going to have you listen to some audio. Okay? I'm not even going to tell you which is which, because it doesn't matter. You're just comparing if they sound alike. Okay? So here's audio 1. Hold on, there's a little intro. Thank you to Sushi Mom 10 with 14 bits. If you need to take it easy and do a short stream, we all understand. We love you and I worry about you. I'll be fine. I don't feel bad today. Like, it's just the throat thing. If it continues to get worse, I'm sure I'll take days off, but not today.
Aryans and honorary Aryans. On this day in 1889, the sleepy village of Braunau am Inn barely noticed when a shy housekeeper named Clara gave birth to her 4th child.
There's audio clip 1. Here's 2.
For subscribing to this channel. If you are a subscriber, please check to make sure that you are still subscribed, because YouTube unsubscribes people every day.
1.
It was unimaginable to those humble villagers that this sickly child,
2.
And if you have not subscribed, please consider supporting this channel. We could use your help in all.
Now, nothing's conclusive. What do you guys think? First of all, what do you guys think? To me, it sounds like it's him, but he's doing something different with the voice changer, and he's maybe putting on a bit of an accent in one of them. You think that's him? Okay. Alright. Very, very close, slightly different. Okay, fair enough. Now we're gonna look at the video. Let me switch to this other camera. So, this one's Doomcock.
War to save pop culture.
I get some without music.
What is really going on behind the scenes? What I'm about to share with you is information I cannot independently verify, so I must ask you to regard it as rumor and take it with several pinches of salt. But that's...
Now here's the other guy, who, yes, is in front of a black sun symbol and is wearing a Nazi uniform. If you don't know, Black Sun is a neo-Nazi symbol. He seems to be going with sort of an Iron Sky theme. If you're not familiar with that, it's like a comic book and movie series that involves Nazis. But, like, he's doing this and also being a real Nazi. Just for the record. So here we go.
rebellious youth, this failed artist and disillusioned soldier would one day become the most talked about man in history. Adolf Hitler is many things to many people. To Germany, he was a hero. To the Jews, he was a nightmare.
Right? Okay? Am I crazy? Am I crazy? It sounds like the same guy to me, just with different voice change things going on. And, like, their mannerisms with the way they gesticulate, it's the same. And obviously tons of people, like, can do this style of video where you're just in front of a camera with a background and you have, like, a character. But it seems like it's him! Like, the mannerisms are, like, exactly the same.
To the Western powers, he was that troublesome chancellor. And to the communist, he was a meat grinder.
Said, I have seldom heard so many rumors from different sources all converging like this.
Your children are taught to hate him. His
Like, come on! It sounds exactly the same! This has to be him! This has to be him! And the thing is, this is like a full-on, this isn't like, oh, we're like putting our toe in the water Nazism. This channel on BitChute, which never go to BitChute. BitChute is full of Nazis. This is literally a Nazi channel. This video is a video celebrating Hitler's birthday. I wish I could say I was shocked, but I'm not. All Doomcock does on his YouTube channel is like dog whistle and talk about how like, oh, they're taking our culture away from us. And then of course this guy, who's probably the same guy, does the same thing but mask off. Or at least a different mask on, if you know what I mean. DM Trey just got here, chat. What are we doing? I think he sounds like this exact same guy. Since BitChute is full of unmasked neo-Nazis, I hope this stream doesn't violate Twitch TOS. Don't worry, I'm not going to get into anything that's like overt's probably not the right word. I'm not going to go into anything that's visceral or like calling for violence. I'm not going to talk about this much at all, specifically because it's so bad I would get banned if I showed full ones of his videos. It's way too close to not be unless proven otherwise. Yeah. It's like bonkers bananas, you know? So this guy, the guy who actually like tipped me off to this, is this guy, Ketwalski, who has a new video today. And we'll watch a little bit of this, because he actually has a mannerisms, like, side-by-side thing that I think is, like, really compelling. Now, he doesn't think definitively that this is the case, because he's a very reasonable person and he wants, like, definitive evidence. And I agree with him, but at the same time, I think this is a situation where, upon the preponderance of the evidence, you can assume it is the case, because it's not that crazy. But anyway, I wanted to watch part of this, at least, because he does a mannerism side-by-side thing. It's literally just a different amount of reverb and slight uptick in his voice pitch. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm in like the 75-80% sure range. In which case, YouTube should ban the dude, because it's clear he's like a Nazi dog whistling on YouTube about Star Wars. Which, by the way, can I point this out too? Why would a Nazi like Star Wars? Star Wars is literally about killing Nazis and how Nazism is bad. Very confusing.
Didn't really have anything to do with me, and I wasn't really super interested in Doomcock. When I was kind of going through one of the, posts that we had on 4chan, and I was looking at some of the responses, and somebody had there a line about Doomcock, and they referred to Doomcock as a different name, and they provided a BitChute link to a different content creator. Now, by kind of a general rule, I don't go to BitChute. It's like this weird alt-right conspiracy website. It's not really safe to go onto, and there's all sorts of weird shit going on over there on BitChute. Not a big fan of it, but I was kind of curious as to what this person was talking about. Why they were referring to Doomcock as this other individual, and what was on the other side of this link. So before we get into what it is that I found, I want to remind everyone of that main pillar tenet that the Fandom Menace and the Fandom Menace supporters truly believe, which again, they're probably going to just act like that was not a thing after this video comes out, because it's going to damage them, I think, a little bit more than they expected. So I expect that whole thing to change. But what they believe right now is that, specifically with 4chan, that if enough people are saying similar things over an extended period of time, then there must be some validity to it. They use this argument. I'm sure some of you have even heard them say it in their videos, in their tweets, in their Facebook posts. You probably have heard these things being stated. It's very clearly part of their main pillar tenet. That's what they believe to be true in regards to these rumors and leaks, specifically in regards to 4chan. So again, if enough people say it, enough people are saying the similar things, and it's happening over a period of time on all sorts of different message boards, then there must be some validity to it. So now that that's in your mind, what I found through my various searching through 4chans and different message boards and things like that throughout the internet was a large number of people asking why nobody was talking about or bringing up the fact that Doomcock had a potential...
Let's read some of these 4chan posts. I actually didn't read these when I watched the video the first time. Well, let's take a look at what they say. And again, these are 4chan posts, so take them as that. Do people that involve Doomcock in their YouTube circles know about his pick-related content on BitChute? Reminder that Doomcock has an actual National Socialist channel. National Socialists, of course, being Nazis. BitChute. For anyone who is curious, this is Doomcock Overlord DVD's side project linked to the BitChute. Every Doomcock video is meant to convince you that Disney is definitely going to turn things around if you support them, so if anything, he's the mouse shill, other than being a National Socialist, and then a link to his other channel. Doomcock is Commandant. Commandant is Doomcock. It's literally Doomcock spamming this so he can then report on it. BitChute. He might be a mod on TV, considering that if his Nazi alt channel is posted during American hours, the thread auto-sages immediately. What the heck did I type? I need to take my meds. This board isn't bought and paid for by marketing grifters after all. Disney is effed, so Bob Chapek hopes to turn the ship around just as Bob Iger is out the door. There's nothing wrong in listening with customer and giving people what they want. Doomcock is literally Commandant 2.0. If the optics didn't get you, he refers to J.J. Abrams as, quote, pickle-nosed. Bet you thought Picard was a masterpiece. Oh, Jesus. F off, Doomcock. Or Commandant, whatever you call yourself. Doomcock is just the Commandant with a different mask, right? They have the exact same style of video, and their voices are the same. Is this the same guy in a different mask? And then I can't read the one at the very bottom.
Secondary channel and a secondary persona, which is, I'll say, more political.
We are faced with an enemy that has openly declared its intention to extinguish our race, destroy our civilization, and erase our memory. There is no reasoning with this enemy. They are as insane as they are inhuman. They are driven by self-loathing and the delusional dream of a communist utopia in which the Aryan race does not exist.
Now, I can't prove that that's Doomcock. Not conclusively, at least, and also by my own standards of trying to find out proof and truth sources and things of that nature. I can't prove that. But it is true that the video styles are very similar. The costumes are kind of similar. The hand gestures are kind of similar.
This is what I wanted to look at. Look at these hand gestures. And tell me this is not the same guy in a different mask.
The styles are very similar. The costumes are kind of similar. The hand gestures are kind of similar. Their speech is about saving each other's culture. Very similar. The way that they pronounce words, very, very similar. Really just...
Look at that gesticulation. The this. It's all exactly the same. It has to be him. I'll look at this. I'll just spend 3 hours watching this over and over.
Are kind of similar. The hand gestures are kind of similar. Their speech is...
Where's my tinfoil hat? I need my tinfoil hat for this.
Is about...
Look at the hand gestures. I'm turning into Hans Worm hat.
saving each other's culture. Very similar. The way that they pronounce words, very, very similar. Really just...
Just the this. The often using the two hands in tandem as to mirror each other. That's kind of a weird tick. That's a weird way to gesticulate, right? I don't think a lot of people do that. The fact that these two not only sound almost exactly alike, but they also, like, gesticulate in exactly the same way. It's like, it has to be. It has to be. If this were evidence shown to me in a court of law, I'd be like, yeah, that seems like the same guy.
There's nothing funny about the tools.
I'm at the point where I'm like, this feels beyond reasonable doubt to me. And maybe you aren't, and that's fine. In fairness, I've watched a lot more. I've spent today watching a lot of the Commandant BitChute channel, most of which I can't show here on Twitch or YouTube for that matter, for obvious reasons. It's a literal neo-Nazi channel where he's... I'm not even kidding. His most recent video on BitChute is describing how to attack and kill protesters. I'm not kidding. Like, I cannot show this, but you need to know that this guy is probably the guy on YouTube making the ridiculous claims about Star Wars. And even though he doesn't directly, like, be like, hey, check out my other channel on BitChute, the kind of content he makes directly works to funnel people towards that sort of alt-right neo-Nazi worldview where everyone is out to get, like, straight white men, and it's attack on you personally because culture is changing, and that you need to, like, rise up, whatever. Like, I'm telling you, this is the same guy.
A lot of the persona elements of both these two very similar. Each other's culture, very similar. The way that they pronounce words, very, very similar. Really just very similar. The hand gestures are kind of...
It's this that gets me. Who does this? Who's like, and now, Star Wars. Or like, and now, let me talk about Adolf Hitler's birthday for some reason.
Similar. Their speech is about saving each other's culture, very similar. The way that they pronounce words, very, very similar. Really just a lot of the persona elements of both these two people are very similar in nature. And
let me see if there's anything else I can show from the BitChute channel that's not outright, you know, stuff that I can't show. He's a Holocaust denier, too. I should point that out. You never heard of BitChute? BitChute is basically alt-right YouTube. It's what they use when they get banned from YouTube. And by the way, this Nazi, Commandant Base 221, a lot of his videos have 2,000, 5,000. These are in the 1,000, but that's not the main guy doing it. That's some other person who does it with him. 2,000, almost 4,000, 3,000. Those are high numbers for BitChute. If you look at popular videos on BitChute today... Like, let's look at trending. The trending page on BitChute. The trending videos on BitChute only have 8,000, 6,000, 6,000, 6,000. So this guy is in, like, the top 50th... He's in, like, the 50th percentile or better of views on BitChute. This isn't some fringe channel on BitChute. This is, like, a big channel for BitChute. The views he gets are bananas. This is not like some little channel like, you know, Hans Wormhat says a lot of really dumb stuff, but he's not representative of the YouTube community, right? He's a very small channel in a big pond. But this dude is a big channel in a small pond. This is representative of what the people on BitChute, the content they're looking for. And it's literal neo-Nazi propaganda. Like, it's ridiculous.
That's right.
I don't know if Hannah or Jake said this, but I think one of them said if more non-Nazis used BitChute to upload videos, BitChute would kick the Nazis off their platform. I don't know about that. Maybe, but then they'd just be another YouTube knockoff, and every single YouTube knockoff has failed. Look at, excuse me, Blip TV. There's another big one that I'm forgetting the name of. I think Dailymotion still exists, but, like, the vast majority of YouTube knockoffs fail tremendously, and the only reason BitChute has lasted as long as it has is because they rely on donations, for one thing. They have, let's see, we have currently raised $23,000 of our ongoing monthly $30,000 target. People literally donate to BitChute to keep the servers running.
There's nothing funny about the tools.
And secondly, because it's an ideologue-based website, right? It's not just like, we're an alternative to YouTube. It's, oh, YouTube's taken away your free speech to be a Nazi and a weird conspiracy theorist who believes in QAnon stuff. So come here and you can watch all the disgusting nonsense you want. So, Dailymotion is more for watching TV shows in less than legal ways these days. Yeah, I get it. Daughter of Tiamat, thank you for continuing your subscription. Howdy, Hannah. Howdy, how you doing? So, it seems clear to me, and I fully admit I could be wrong. I could be wrong on this, and if I am proven wrong at some point, then I'd apologize to Doomcock for this. I would. But on a preponderance of the evidence provided, the fact that their voices sound almost exactly alike. I mean, again, listen to this. Just with different, like, pitch shifts and different stuff he's doing with the voice changer.
Aryans and honorary Aryans. The first shots have been fired. Blood has been spilled.
And the naked facts on the ground are so starkly obvious that I must report, along
Like Overlord DVD Doomcock guy, he's got more reverb going on, but the pitch is also slightly different. But it sounds like the same guy. The cadence, the word choice, the way he's gesticulating, it all comes together to make it seem like it's the same guy to me. So I don't know. Make your own call on this one. I'm certainly not going to tell you because there's nothing conclusive, but it seems to me pretty reasonable to assume that this guy is the same as this guy, and that this guy, who constantly dog whistles, is really mask off a Nazi. I don't know. So the other guy, let me go over it a little bit. Actually, I'll hold on. Control Shift T. Let me go over some of these. Even though I can't play them for obvious reasons, I'll tell you what some of these videos were because I watched them earlier. And if you want to check it out yourself, you can. Though I don't recommend it because BitChute's awful, and it wouldn't surprise me if they, like, mine bitcoins with your browser. I think they do. So we have Revolution and Counter-Revolution. This is his most recent video. It's from July, so he doesn't post super often. But nonetheless, this video is about how to fight and potentially harm protesters. And I'm being light there when I say harm. He's talking about how to, let's say, silence protesters permanently. This is a video just hyping up fighting, like, people who are protesting. I don't know who this lady is, but she also does videos on his channel sometime. If we could find a link between this lady and Doomcock, it would be proof. That would be it. But we don't. So, and I would have no way of looking into that because, of course, Doomcock wears a mask. So, let me see if I can find him without a mask. Doomcock without... I don't know if he's ever showed up to a convention or something. Here's a tweet by him. Have you ever got your face armor on in these vids? Have you got your face armor on in these vids? Are you naked? I wear my mask the entire time, my friend. Like, he's very particular, you know? Let me see if Wikitubia has anything. I doubt it, though. It's a very short article. Overlord DVD, also known as Dictor Van Doomcock, or known simply as Doomcock, is an American YouTuber who does commentary and review-style videos on films, television, and comic books. He's also a critic of pop culture as well. He's portrayed as a supervillain with a mask and deep voice. Most of Doomcock content is centered around reviewing various television shows and movies, blah, blah, blah. Nothing to do with his personal life. Very, very tough to do when you know nothing about the actual person. His complete interview is here, so he has a interview. I wonder if that would elucidate anything. This is an interview from Midnight's Edge After Dark. Midnight's Edge also being part of this, like, the Fandom Menace. Basically, they're the right-wing, anti-SJW media channels. Jeremy isn't one of them, but they're Jeremy adjacent, and they're definitely worse than Jeremy.
Welcome to Midnight's Edge After Dark. My name is Tom Connors, of course, and with me is Rob Gallo.
How you doing, everybody?
We have a very, very, very special show for you today. We've got some exclusive information about Dictor von Doomcock. We have some pictures, which you can see on the screen right now. We also
Wow, he really buys into this stupid persona.
have a lot of information about his past that we're going to share with you. And, you know, what is that noise?
Yeah, there's like a buzzing or something. What is
Buzzing?
that?
Yeah. A tinging, a ringing.
Attention.
What the?
This is the voice
He's
of
gonna do the whole interview in character, isn't he? That's the most obnoxious thing ever.
the future ruler of Earth, Dictor van Doomcock. You have been interfered with
Although that does seem like the kind of thing a Nazi LARPer would do.
with the Abductatron 3000. Relax and prepare to be transported to my secret base at the Earth's core. Seatbelts are optional.
Commencing transmission. Engaging scramblers. Proxy chain initialized.
Rob. Greetings, Tom and Captain Rob.
Oh god, he's gonna use the voice changer the whole time, too.
It pleases Doomcock to be speaking with you today. Doomcock acknowledges no man as his equal, but that said, Midnight's Edge and all related podcasts represent excellence in YouTube broadcasting. I find your coverage of Hollywood most informative and insightful. I have also greatly enjoyed your takedowns of Star Trek Discovery, and I consider you allies in my struggle against that abomination.
My struggle against a TV show I don't like. Might be putting a little too much. My struggle against Star Trek Discovery. You might call it Mein Kampf against Star Trek Discovery.
That is why I have granted you this interview.
I think I want to say thank you for having us. You have a very nice volcano.
Yeah, where do you find an interior decorator to get this far deep into the Earth's core? You've done a nice job at the place. Is this
you.
the old Blofeld Blair?
No, Blofeld is a punk, and he's fictional. I'm real.
You have to forgive us. We don't get abducted every
Don't get
day.
abducted.
I know, you're filled with awe.
Yes, that too. Yes.
Yes, you're afraid.
A little
Daddy Sume, boo.
bit. I peed a little.
Did I see CBS is putting trans and NB folks in Discovery Season 3? I did. That's cool. I'm excited for the Season 3. I didn't like Season 1 of Star Trek Discovery very much, but I thought it got a lot better in Season 2, and I'm excited for Season 3. So that's basically my opinion on it. Not that it's relevant to the topic at hand, but in case you were curious, that's pretty much where I stand.
Here, I vow to
Oh, that rhymed. Good job, me.
return you safely to the Earth's surface, assuming you don't piss me off.
We wouldn't dream of it, Exalted One.
So, what do you want to know? I understood that you were interested in an interview
Yes,
with me.
absolutely, Exalted One. If you will please indulge our curiosity.
So
Certainly.
I guess I'll start it off. Where do you hail from?
Well, that is a long and tangled story. This origin has never been revealed before. I was born in 1849 to Count Otto van Doomhan and his lovely wife, Dora Lichtenstein, in
This is an hour-long joke interview, for the record. Let's go ahead and see if it changes.
as you might imagine. So I was ranting and raving in the orphanage, raising my fist and being imperious at all the parents who came.
No, he's
And
gonna
I
keep-
brooded
he's gonna
and
keep
ranted,
pretending
and
to-
finally I was
Okay.
adopted. Really fucking lucky, because I tell you what, if you had pissed me off, I would have cast you into the pit of despair.
Why is it a
Daddy Sume, this is just stupid. I can't even laugh at it. It's just stupid. He isn't amusing.
bit of
Despair? Why the pit of despair?
Why? Because it's a really deep pit with really steep sides that you will never be able to crawl out of.
Oh, so it's
Like,
so
to me,
basically
this sounds like the same guy as the Commandant. He's just putting on a supervillain voice, like he's trying to be a knockoff Victor Von Doom. I'm a supervillain. That's what he sounds like he's trying to do.
It's a pit.
Yes, but nobody cast into it has ever complained about not despairing enough or feeling good about being in it, so,
That's tough to argue.
yeah, I think it's deserving of the name.
How did you meet Harvey?
Oh, it's just, you know, I was probing around, screwing around in alternate dimensions, doing exploring.
College?
Yeah, you know.
Well, that's not funny.
Along with the normal reservation.
He did a... Again, I'm not going to show this, but he did this, quote, Holocaust Day special, and it's him doing Holocaust denialist stuff, for the record. Yeah. I'm going to take this so you can't see the Nazi stuff.
Aryans and honorary Aryans. My apologies.
No, this isn't going to be the whole stream today. We will probably look at some more, like, Doomcock stuff just as its own thing. But, no, the whole thing won't be looking into the neo-Nazi stuff.
Apologies for the great delay between transmissions, but for the past month we have been on an extended mission in the United Kingdom. Our purpose there was, as always, to combat the spread of communism, and it was one of the most grueling operations the Black...
December 15th, 2019, he's saying he's in the UK. That could be fake. He could just be lying, for one thing. Because he is also playing a character there. His character in the neo-Nazi thing is... he lives on, like, an Antarctic Nazi base, which is something from the Iron Sky comics, I believe. So let me see when December would have been. 9 months ago, 10 months ago or so. When was this? December 15th, 2019.
Great.
October 8th. That's a bit too early. October 22nd.
Greetings, my friend.
November 8th. December 20th. December 19th.
There's nothing funny about
December
the tools of
17th.
capitalism.
December 16th.
Hail, you two.
December 10th. Interesting. Captain Seculoid with 100 bits just got here. Take some bits. So, Nazi persona says he's in the UK doing something. And then a period between the 10th of December and the 17th of December, Doomcock puts out no new content. Interesting.
Please check to make sure you're still subscribed to this channel, as people get unsubscribed from my channel without their knowledge every day. And if you have not subscribed, please do so. You don't want to miss any Rise of Skywalker breaking news this December. To quote Han Solo, here's where the fun begins. Thank you, and enjoy the video. I have received a new batch of leaks from my source, and if...
My source. Oh, another piece of evidence. I didn't even bring this up. I'm sorry. Okay, so there's another video that the Nazi guy, who's probably Doomcock, if you're just joining us, here's the voice that...
Sun has ever engaged in. Typically, our operations last only a few days, as it is dangerous for us to stay away from Antarctica for longer than that.
So, it sounds to me like it's Doomcock, but on top of that, there's a video that the Nazi guy has where he does the same lie Doomcock always does, right? He does the lie. If you missed earlier in the video, you're going to have to catch the stream later. You're going to have to catch, like, the highlight on YouTube, because I'm not going to go back and, like, explain everything again. It would take quite a while. But he does the same lie Doomcock always does. He says something along the lines of, I have... what did he call him? He says he has, like, I have agents within the communist forces that are telling me... Like, he does the same lie that he does about Star Wars, where he's like, I know I have a source in YouTube, but the Nazi guy does the same thing, but claims he has a source inside the communists? Whatever that means. I assume he means, like, Black Lives Matter, because that's what that video's about. He just calls everyone he doesn't like communists, because that's not the thing Nazis do. But, like, he tells the same lies, even! It's so strange.
There's nothing funny about the tools of
Mansion Hands, thanks for following, and Tucker White 24 with a bit. Oh, so this guy's channel is just a gossip rag. Oh, yeah. He takes things from 4chan and then acts like they're real. He's been scammed a bunch of times. People have intentionally gone on 4chan and, like, told lies and made up stories to see if he covers them, and he does.
They are accurate. One horrific leak in particular will absolutely demonstrate not only what a degraded abomination Rise of Skywalker truly is,
Let me see if he mentions it all at the end, that he's like going to
but also
the UK or something.
Weekend at Palpatine's is coming this Christmas to a theater near you. Use lightning from beyond? There goes every major battle in Star Wars history. Also Abrams can add his little narrative lens flares. This is sad, people. If Han's Force Ghost appears to Kylo Ren, this is a stinging indictment of the narrative integrity of Lucas.
How about this one? This is when he came... This is December 16th.
The other day, that umbrella guy tweeted out that he had been unsubscribed from my channel without his knowledge or consent. Please check to make sure that you're still subscribed, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. We need you to join us in our fight to save pop culture. Thank you, enjoy this video, and prepare. Rise of Skywalker is only a few days away. My friends,
Twitter search. Let me see if I can search Doomcock's Twitter to see if he mentions anything about going to the UK. Search someone's tweets. Okay. All of these words, UK. Use hashtags accounts. What is Doomcock's? I think it's just at Doomcock. At Doomcock, yep. At Doomcock. Search. Oh. Okay. So, in December 2019, the same time that Nazi guy... So, in December of 2019, at the same time Nazi guy says that he's in the UK, Doomcock tweets, "Happy New Year's to all my UK friends. I've loved the UK pretty much my whole life, so it's an incredible joy to me that I now have so many friends in the land of Monty Python and Doctor Who. May 2020 be filled with blessings and joy for all of you. Cheers." Now, he's not saying He's in the UK. However, it's kind of weird to me that he randomly makes that tweet the same month that this guy claims that he is in the UK. This is a bit of a stretch. I'm not gonna lie. But let's continue on his tweets and see if we can find anything else. That's October, though. December 15th. Exactly. Come back, Anakin. All is forgiven. Let's see. Well, you know, now that Disney owns the franchise, Goofy is a perfect... Ah, dang it. That's all we have. More confirmation from another agent of Doomcock in the UK. BBC Radio just took the call. They routed a message. Blah, blah, blah. 2019. Happy Halloween, UK. Yes, indeed. I'll be releasing my next episode on Star Trek Discovery. August 2019. Happy Halloween. My Halloween live stream, UK edition, starts at 1 p.m. Central. So was he in the UK in, like, October?
It's Halloween! Dictor Van Doomcock, Dictor Van Doomcock, it's Halloween, it's Halloween, Dictor Van Doomcock, Dictor Van Doomcock, ooh! Wind up your Halloween dominions and...
That's super, super annoying.
Tired Robert Slakes, Jason Howell, Eluvrian, Imikara, Bionic Belly Button, Eric Hawk, The Kelvington, Keck 44,
The first voice sounded like Jim Sterling's evil voice.
Kim Anderson, Jason Howell, Robert Slakes, Thomas Preston, Fourth Drawer Down, Red Monarch, Hecate's Daughter, What is the Matrix, Surly Unicorn, Fausto Solis, Derek McManus, 4K Omega Ash, Mary Ash, Monzo Kill decided to write a little song for Halloween, based on a tune that we all know and love, and I think you're going.
Okay, so let me go back a little bit in this one. He talks about being in the UK. Let me see if he's more specific on dates or anything. I doubt it, though.
And it was one of the most grueling operations the Aryans and honorary Aryans. My apologies for the great delay between transmissions, but for the past month we have been on an extended mission in the United Kingdom.
So this is December 15th, so let's say he just got back, so around November they were in. So during November, they were in the UK or so.
Our purpose there was...
October, November, he does a UK edition, assuming it's him. He does a UK edition of Friday Night Frolics on October 31st on Halloween. So he was definitely thinking about the UK. It was on his mind. Was it on his mind because he's about to go on a trip to the UK? Or was the trip longer than a month and he's in the UK during this stream? How long is extended mission? No.
As always, to combat the spread of communism, and it was one of the most grueling operations the Black Sun has ever engaged in. Typically, our operations last only a few days, as it is dangerous for us to stay away from Antarctica for longer than that.
The Antarctica thing is part of the character he does when he's this character. Again, I'm assuming it's him. Like, you don't have to. You can not think they're the same person if you want. I think it's the same person, so I'm going to talk about them as if they are, because I think they are. Just like when he's in the Doomcock character, he's like very, very... How do I want to put this? He stays in character no matter what, even if it's really cringy. Same thing here. He pretends that he is a Nazi from the Antarctic base from the Iron Sky comics. So if he mentions Antarctica again, that's why.
However, the predictions of the Vril Society revealed an opportunity for advancement in the UK which simply could not be ignored. It is thanks to our brethren in the UK, and you know who you are, that we were able to remain undetected for so long. Perhaps more importantly, it is these proud Aryans who, through great personal sacrifice, extended the life of the Vril crystals that we used to sustain ourselves while away from Antarctica.
They also talk about a bunch of mumbo-jumbo that I think is from the... He's LARPing. He's LARPing, right? As not just a Nazi, but a Nazi from Iron Sky. Let me see. I'm sorry, this is gonna suck, but we gotta watch this to see if he mentions why it's the UK edition. Is it because there's just a bunch of people from the UK on? Is he in the UK? Don't know, but we gotta listen to this to find out. Does he not realize Iron Sky is mocking Nazis? Probably not.
It's Halloween! Dictor Van Doomcock, Dictor Van Doomcock.
Sure, I'll speed it up.
It's Halloween, it's Halloween. Dictor Van Doomcock, Dictor Van Doomcock. Ooh! Wind up your Halloween, Dominions and Doomentites. It's time once again for a Doomcock Halloween, a special edition of Friday Night Frolics on Thursday afternoon. Specifically for all my UK listeners who are viewing Sundown at this moment with trepidation and fright. I am Dictor Van Doomcock, in case you just wandered in here by accident, and we are going to have a little bit of Halloween fun with a Thursday afternoon edition of Friday Night Frolics. That means that in all likelihood, there will not be a Friday Night Frolics tomorrow, although I might do a short one. We'll see. But as for now, I'm doing 2 Halloween live streams. I am doing this one, this UK edition, and then at 7 o'clock, I am doing a US edition. And we are just going to have some fun. But I want to thank all the usual suspects for showing up right tonight. I want to thank, let's see where we are. Where are we? I've lost track. Okay, so we've got Big Red Bullfrog, Josh and Rebecca Amamani, Michael Keller, A Nutter, Juan Crespo, Eric Fisher, Andy Morley, Sentient Dildo, Maverick MX, Lucy, meow, Red Monarch, Starry-Eyed Girl, Rudyard Olnick, Abby Olace, Caleb P. Walden, Pleasant Valley Picker, C.A., Isildur's Bane, Oiler Greg, Mark the Infinitely.
Cotton Candy 903, this one doesn't have the echo filter. Maybe we can use it as a vocal bridge? I mean, I guess. I don't have anything. Like, I guess I could. I would have to know what he's using to change his voice. I don't know what program he's using, and then I'd have to use that and screw with it and try and get it to match the Nazi, right? But I don't know, so I can't just pick a random voice changer app or something, because it would be, like, completely off, even if it is the same exact guy.
Tired Robert Slakes, Jason Howell.
Yeah, it sounds like he's not in the UK at this time. So at minimum, what we know is Overlord DVD from his tweets and from the way he talks about the UK. He really likes the UK. He's very obsessed with it. I mean, obsessed is a strong word maybe, but he's very interested in the UK, and he does specific streams for people in the UK. In December of 2019, he did a special New Year's just for people from the UK, his UK friends. And then the way we can potentially connect that is this Commandant guy, who again, sounds like the exact same guy, has the same exact mannerisms, tells the same kind of lies. He is saying that he just got back from a trip to the UK in December 15th, 2019. Okay.
Your countrymen are deeply indebted to every one of you, though most of them will never know it, and this makes your sacrifice all the more noble. Hail, brethren. The sun set on the British Empire long ago, but now a new sun is rising, a black sun. The Communist Labour Party has been crushed in the worst defeat since 1935. The so-called Red Wall, which has stood in some places...
You get it. I don't think we're going to get more information out of that video, and once it gets into the content of the actual video, I'm wary to play it. For TOS concerns, we can still do some comparisons. I think it sounds like it could easily be filtered into Commandant. Probably, but I don't... Real-time voice changer for online games. That's the first one that comes up. I don't know if it would make sense for him to use the first one that comes up, though.
What I'm about to tell you is going to make a lot of EU fans very, very angry. With The Last Jedi, Lucasfilm drove a defective lightsaber through the heart of Star Wars, breaking the hearts of fans across the world with its nightmarish, undeveloped, you could just reviews, and
Okay. UK. Do you gotta put commas between these? That's how it works on YouTube, but I don't know about Twitter. UK, Britain, oops. My fingers are stupid. UK, Britain, England. Oh, yeah, I need to put the, duh. From these accounts. Doomcock. You must have to put commas or something. UK. God, I'm so bad. Britain. England. Doomcock. Search. No, not commas either. Weird. Do you only have to, do you have to like search one at a time? Or do you have to put them all in quotes? I'll do that. Oh, shit. Oh, try full. Yeah, that would probably work. United Kingdom. Doomcock. Nope, none from him. Weird.
Copa, furthermore, will future.
Let me just look around his tweets from that time period. Is there a date? We'll just go to his Twitter. Doomcock. Tweets and replies, and then we got to get back to December, November 2019. So this might take a bit to scroll. I'm going to put an annoying video of his in the background.
Moving forward, new videos that YouTube or COPPA might frown upon will be posted at the addresses listed below. Want uncensored and unleashed videos with Doomcock and Harvey? In the future, you'll find them there. YouTube, we did it! We have hit 100,000 subscribers! Yes! And I want to thank all of you for subscribing. I want to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank all of you for your love and support. I will be forever grateful. Please check to make sure that you are still subscribed, however, because people are still being unsubscribed every single day. I will be doing a celebration this Friday night. I hope you will join me for that. But in the meantime, if you haven't subscribed, please... The other day, that umbrella guy tweeted out that he had been unsubscribed.
I'm just gonna play. This is like top
Greetings,
video.
my friends. I want to thank you all for subscribing to this channel. If you are a subscriber, please check to make sure that you are still subscribed because YouTube unsubscribes people every day. And if you have not subscribed, please consider supporting this channel. We could use your help in our war to save pop culture. Thank you and enjoy the video. Picard is dead, Star Trek is in flames, and Kurtzman is finished. These are the latest rumors
said that so
from
many
multiple
times.
sources, too numerous
You know how
to
many
mention.
times he's been like,
My
this
friends,
is it, Star Trek
I don't
is
think
over,
there has ever
Alex
been a time when
Kurtzman's
Star
gonna be
Trek
fired.
has been so low. Even after it was canceled in 1969, Star Trek still burned brightly in the hearts of fans, but now Star Trek is just burning. And mostly, no one cares anymore. In a case of almost certainly too little, too late, Emma Watts at Paramount is finally trying to fix things, and that's bad news for Kurtzman, who is, after all, the problem. But what is really going on behind the scenes? What I'm about to share with you is information
the
I
funny
cannot
thing with this stuff
independently...
is, like, I don't like Alex Kurtzman being in charge of Star Trek either. I really don't think he gets it, and I don't think he does a good job. But, like, the constant rumor mill BS is weird. And the things that Doomcock doesn't like about the shows aren't the same things I don't like. Like, I would prefer Star Trek to be a little more cerebral, a little less action, you know. But the things he doesn't like is, like, a lot of the characters are women and people who aren't white. It's like, dude, how do you even like Star Trek? Like, that's part of the point. Progressive politics have been part of Star Trek since the beginning. See if the Commandant's tweets match with Doomcock's. Oh, I didn't even know he had a Twitter. May 17th, 2019. The YouTube channel was banned. Of course it was. Rather hilariously catastrophic week for the American left. Uh-huh. Oh, God, of course he has a Twitter. Follow. These are so old, though. I returned from my summer pilgrimage. A brief videography of the last day has been posted. Regular transmissions will now resume in February 2019. March 2019. The enemies of sanity have used Christchurch as an excuse to attempt to censor us. Uh-huh.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Yeah, he has nothing almost this past year. Daddy Sume, he probably likes the Dark Mirror universe of Star Trek a lot more than the regular one. No, because it's ruled by an empress. I don't think he likes that either. Even the evil universe in Star Trek isn't, like, sexist, you know? So... Clear the egg. Looks like the Commandant came back from a Ukraine trip on December 2nd, 2018. It would be interesting to see if that matches up.
That's right, capitalistic propaganda.
January. He mentions being in the Ukraine in December 2018. Okay. I'll look it up in a bit. Acquiring Killing Fox News, January. Twitter and advanced search. Ukraine. Doomcock. Yep, no results for Ukraine. I don't think he would be stupid enough to say on one account that he's going on a trip and then on the other account also say it. Like, this guy's a douche. I don't think he's an idiot. There's a difference, right?
verify, so I must ask you to regard it as rumor and take it with several pinches of salt. But that said, I have seldom heard so many rumors from different sources all converging like this, and the naked facts on the ground are so starkly obvious that I must report, along with the normal reservations associated with any rumors, a high degree of confidence in the plausibility of these rumors. The simple, stark, and undeniable fact is Star Trek sucks. Under Kurtzman, this flaming bag of poop left on the porch of fandom is wretched beyond belief, a horrid, abject failure of spectacular proportions that has stone-cold murdered this once proud franchise. This is what happens when you put assholes with no love of a franchise in charge of a franchise. You leave the franchise alone with the mercenary in question, Then you come back to find your franchise in the bathtub, packed with ice and missing its kidneys, being sold on the black market for cash. Star Trek is in the tub without its kidneys, and Alex Kurtzman is in a wet market overseas selling its organs. Now it's all over, Danny Bailey, and the harvest is in. These are the rumors I've heard, all of them, and this is fairly likely what is going on
fairness,
with the
he is saying
kidneyless,
Happy New Year
ice-packed
to, like,
body of the
every time
franchise,
zone.
formerly known
Just gonna
as
point
Star
that
Trek.
out. It wasn't just the
Let's
UK.
start with what we know for sure. On August 7th, Deadline published an article stating that Emma Watts' top priority at Paramount was to figure out how to reboot Star Trek. That right there is absolutely an unequivocal public confession that Star Trek is in trouble. After all, you don't worry about rebooting something that is successful. Emma Watts is the president of the Paramount Motion Picture Group, personally appointed by Sherry Redstone,
Posting
and partly
beef
responsible
with Ben
for...
Shapiro. Look at this. Hold on. I just saw Rise of Skywalker. Hold on, let me do the Ben Shapiro. Just saw Rise of Skywalker. Everyone is wrong. The movie is mostly nostalgia-packed joy. If you love the original Star Wars, you should be grateful to J.J. Abrams for attempting to right his own wrongs in The Force Awakens and the travesty that is The Last Jedi. Doomcock says, Mr. Shapiro, I respect your intellect and enjoy your work, but you're obviously a casual Star Wars fan at best. Don't lecture people who eat, drink, and breathe Star Wars about Star Wars. You are greatly mistaken on this point and are speaking from a place of ignorance. Just to clarify, I am neither endorsing nor disavowing Mr. Shapiro's political views. I stay out of politics. I'm merely saying that while he is intelligent and communicates well, I disagree strongly with his position on Rise of Skywalker. Beef with Ben Shapiro. Thanos copter. Talking about Blade Runner. Talking about Red Dwarf. Oh god, what is this? This is a oh god, Bible verse. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind. And then Doomcock says, well, of course the actual Jesus was not involved in this scheme, and no, Jesus was harmed during the production of this tweet. In other words, this dude was high as a kite on drugs. I therefore judge his accusation unsound. Hashtag Jesus is innocent. Oh god. What the hell? Ugh. December 27th. After we're done going through the tweets, we'll move on to something else. I know, it's getting tedious at this point, and I apologize. I'm just obsessed with this shit. Because I swear, it's him. I'm telling you. Again, could be wrong. I still think it was him, though. The 15th is when the Nazi commandant guy said that he got back roughly from the UK. If there's a... Excuse me. I doubt he would follow his other channel if it was him. He'd have to be... He's pretty good. Again, if it's him, he does a really good job of distancing himself. So that would be incredibly stupid. Right? I'll check both, but I doubt it. I have seen Rise of Skywalker. My review is going to be around 40 minutes. Let me see. Hold on. Rise of Skywalker release date by country. December 20th in the USA. Did it open in the UK any sooner? Because if it did, he would have seen it earlier. Release. Push back to December 20th. Los Angeles premiere, December 16th. No test screenings. Let me just do UK release. UK release, Rise of Skywalker. December 19th. He wouldn't have been there at the time if it was even him. Let me see who Commandant follows. Give me a sec. He follows one person, and it's As of News, which I imagine is probably a pretty bad news source. So he only follows one person, 46 followers. I'm one of the followers because I followed. Commandant 211. Is this another one? Tweets are protected. Interesting. So this is like a protected Twitter account that's probably him. Let me see who follows that. Only approved followers can see Commandant 211's tweets. Request access. Click follow. Ooh, there's zero chance he's gonna approve me. Screw it. I'll give it a shot. And I can't even look at the followers they're following. That sucks. Start a new Twitter. I'm not doing that. That's not worth it. Do it. Do it now. How about one of you tries to follow him, and then you let me know? I'm not gonna make a whole new Twitter. December 17th. This is not the Lucas cut. He talks about the Lucas cut of certain Star Wars sequel movies too, and it's like, George Lucas wasn't involved in any of them. Why would there be a George Lucas cut? That doesn't even make sense. It annoys me too that he's like taking credit for saying like all the leaks were true. Doomcock's source was genuine. Guys, the plot of Rise of Skywalker leaked to everyone on the internet. It was posted online. Like, this was not a Doomcock specific thing. You just put yourself on the radar of a Nazi? Oh, who cares? What are they gonna do? They're a LARPer. December 17th, December 17th, December 16th. And he doesn't like HBO's Watchmen, probably because it has themes that are very anti-right-wing, let's say. Your microaggressions against LARPers bugs me. You know what I mean. I don't care if you're an actual LARPer. I'm talking about the fact that he dresses up and pretends to be like a Nazi commandant. That shit's embarrassing. I got All I Want for Christmas Is You stuck in my head for some reason. Alright. I think that's... all the evidence I think I'm going to find I've already found. So I don't know.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Hold on, there was something. Thank you to Catalina Gearbox for the $10 donation. Stab Nazis in the tea. Thanks. Very frustrating. I'm telling you though, guys, I think it's the same guy. I really, really do. Like, the mannerisms, the voice, the whole...
From my channel without his...
like, way the videos are put together...
far, far away.
Just seems like the same guy to me.
Aliens and honorary aliens. The first shots have been fired, blood has been spilled, and territory captured. By every definition, we are at war.
Does DVD have a bitchute? That's a good question. I don't know if he does. What does he call himself normally? DoomCock. I think he just doesn't call himself DoomCock on, Geeks and Gamers. Oh, boy. Subscribe to DoomCock. No, it doesn't look like he does. Other people are talking about him, but, like, it doesn't look like he has his own channel on here. So, I don't know. Interesting stuff. Make your own judgments. You saw DoomCock down there. It was people talking about him, but I didn't actually see his channel. Either way, make your own call on this one. I think it seems like it's him. But hey, could be wrong. Would not shock me, though, based on the mannerism similarities and the voice similarities.
Their speech is about saving each other's culture. Very similar. The way that they pronounce words, very, very similar. Really.
Just saying. Now let's move on to something else. Until we get more evidence, that is. If we ever do. OCP, thanks for subscribing. Appreciate that. So what shall we talk about? We're supposed to still be doing Pop Culture Warrior Watch stuff. So let's see what other media chuds we have. We, of course, do have Overlord DVD, DoomCock. We have Yellow Flash. We have The Quartering. We have Midnight's Edge. We have Nerdrotic. And we have... someone has a video about... Josiah Rises has this video. Get ready for an LGBT feminist Power Rangers reboot. Woke Hollywood strikes again. Is it possible they're just copying each other in the vein of skeptic types? It's possible. I don't think you intentionally can get that close to someone's mannerisms and, like, how your voice sounds, though. Like, it's... even if you say, I'm gonna make a character on YouTube or BitChute, I'm gonna make a persona for my online videos, and I'm gonna wear a mask, and I'm gonna do a voice change, like, the rest is too similar. I don't think you intentionally choose to do the exact same mannerisms. I don't think you have the same voice. You know what I mean? It just seems odd. And the same lies they tell about, like, oh, I have a source inside, whether it's Disney or, like, the communists. It's the same kind of stuff. It's weird. So what do we want to do? Power Rangers. We could do some actual Doom content that isn't, like, trying to investigate if he's a Nazi. Yellow Flash has stuff about a bunch of different things. The Quartering. We have Midnight's Edge talking about a bunch of stuff. You know, Looney Tunes plot leak. Ooh, I do want to hear about what Space Jam 2 is about, even though what he's saying probably isn't the actual plot. Power Rangers. Okay, we'll do Power Rangers. So I'm a pretty big fan of Power Rangers. I've seen Cotton Candy 903 says, I saw a guy trying his best to imitate Logic and he couldn't get the mannerisms right. You know, I've seen a lot of the seasons of Power Rangers. There's obviously a cutoff point where I stopped watching it, like as a kid or even as a teen, because I continued to watch it longer than most people, I think. Power Rangers seasons. Let me see where I stopped watching. I'm going to try and give my, like, Power Rangers cred to try and gauge how much Power Rangers I've watched, so you know I'm not just some rando, like, talking about this, okay? Watched all the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, saw the little mini-series Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers, Power Rangers Zeo, Turbo, In Space, Lost Galaxy, Lightspeed Rescue, Time Force, Wild Force, Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder. So, Dino Thunder is the last season I watched when it was on, which was 2004, so I was, let's see, I was only 10, wow, I guess I thought I still watched it later than that. I watched reruns later on, like on TV and stuff, of ones I'd already watched, but like I've never seen SPD or Mystic Force or Operation Overdrive or Jungle Fury or RPM. I've never seen Power Rangers. I mean, I've seen 1 or 2 episodes of Samurai, actually. I did, because that was when it, like, Saban bought it back. And I've seen a couple episodes of Power Rangers Mega Force because I was interested, because that's the season where they, like, have the Power Rangers Mega Battle thing where all the Power Rangers are together. I think I watched, like, an episode of Dino Charge, but I haven't really seen past Dino Thunder. That's the last one I watched when it was on the air. So I know a decent bit about Power Rangers. I don't know the most. For that, you're going to want to look to someone like Linkara, who's watched like every episode of every season and he knows his stuff. But I know enough about Power Rangers that I think I can talk about it competently.
A couple years ago, we got a really crappy Power Rangers movie that was absolute just trash garbage.
I don't know about that one. I get it. Here's the thing. The Power Rangers movie that we got like 3 or 4 years ago, which was like a reboot. It was supposed to be like a retelling of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The movie itself is okay. I liked the characters. I liked what they did with like the team and their camaraderie. What I didn't like was all the production design, right? Alpha 5 looked stupid. The Power Rangers outfits looked really, really stupid. The Megazord looked stupid. All that stuff was bad. But, like, the person that got to play Rita, I think, did a good job. All the Power Rangers themselves, I thought, were, like, characters that you liked. I don't know. I liked it. It's not perfect, but I wanted to see a sequel so they could iron out some of the issues that were there. Catalina Gearbox. Doomcock is like my reject Cyberman from Doctor Who. Tucker White 24 with a bit. I forgot that that movie existed. I paid to see that ad for Krispy Kreme. Yes, and they used the Krispy Kreme thing a lot at the end. I know.
Garbage, but it wasn't really for woke reasons necessarily. It was more so just because the story was really crappy and the characters were really crappy. But now we are getting a reboot, another reboot already for Power Rangers, and apparently it looks like we are going to be getting some woke nonsense in this one, which is great. So they just swapped out crappy storytelling and characters for woke crap, which is awesome.
You understand that most Power Rangers teams have been majority men, so if this one happens to be majority female, it wouldn't be woke. It would be fine. Who cares?
I love it. I love it. I love it. Apparently Hollywood can't do anything right anymore. Apparently Hollywood is just garbage at everything that they do. So well done on that, Hollywood. So Power Rangers reboot reportedly features a majority female team.
Like, the fact that you read that and you think woke automatically is weird to me. The majority of Power Rangers teams have usually been men, and when I say usually, I mean I think always. I don't know if there's ever been a Power Rangers team that's majority women. Like, wouldn't it stand to reason that at some point the people who get picked to be Power Rangers, more of them would be women? Like, I'm not saying every time, but statistically you'd think about 50% of the time it would just shake out that way. Does it matter?
Now, I don't really necessarily have a problem with this, but
really? You're making an 8-minute video about it. Seems like you care. Tucker White 24. So basically this reboot is going to be Bubblegum Crisis.
But if this is
not familiar,
literally like the first type of stuff that we are getting about this movie, then we already know where their priorities are at with this film. Their priorities aren't with trying to make a good story or make good...
I mean, this looks like a rumor thing from some website. This wasn't like a press release as far as I know.
Characters, their priority is pushing identity politics.
Get your politics out of my Power Rangers. There are two genders. Men and political.
So, great. Awesome. Oh man, so 2017's Power Rangers was supposed to usher in a new era of the beloved franchise. Hopes were high prior to the film's release, with the trailers at least promising some impressive visual effects and the sequels already being planned. But then it crashed and burned at the box office, making just $142 million on a budget of $105 million, which is yikes. That's a big yikes.
Honestly, it wouldn't have even mattered. And when Power Rangers came out, a little bit after that, or a little bit before that, I worked at, well, no, it was probably a while before that. Anyway, there used to be a Toys R Us in town. I worked at it for a little while, but I don't think it was at the same time that this Power Rangers came out. But I did go to Toys R Us relatively often because I like to buy, you know, collectibles and stuff. I think that stuff's fun. Like, I have all the Marvel prop replica stuff that they used to sell at Toys R Us, and you can buy them at like GameStop now and stuff, but whatever. One time I went there, and there was an aisle full of like nothing but leftover toys from this Power Rangers reboot. And I think part of the reason it did so bad was the suit designs. Power Rangers movie. Like, if you haven't seen Power Rangers, you might not get this, but the suit designs for this Power Rangers movie were just atrocious. They look awful. And it might be one thing if they were trying to be their own version of Power Rangers, but they're supposed to be like a remake of the Mighty Morphin Team, right? And this is like the movie version from the 90s of the Mighty Morphin Team. If they'd gone for something more like this, I think people would have seen it more, and I think more people would have bought the toys for the new movie. Like, I'm a huge Power Rangers fan, and I didn't buy a single toy for this thing, because the designs are terrible. It looks like they watched Michael Bay's Transformers, and they're like, yeah, do that, but with Power Rangers. All the production design was a mistake. Like, all of it. Power Rangers, suit concept. Let me see if I can find, like, a good DeviantArt concept or something. Like this. This would have been a pretty good move for, like, the movie suits. It's reminiscent of the Mighty Morphin Team. It still looks like it. Oh, God. Ad. But, like, it's got a movie look, right? Looks a little bit different. If they'd gone for something like this, and this was in the trailers, I think more people would have been into the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. But as it stands, they just looked really stupid. And I say that, like, even by Power Rangers standards. And Power Rangers look ridiculous. I fully admit that. But that's part of the fun. It's like a silly, campy, like, show from Japan that they take and re-edit with American footage to turn it into an American show. It's a silly show, and that's fine. But, like, it's almost like they were embarrassed they were making a Power Rangers movie, and that's not how you should go about things.
And it just wasn't really that good. Whatever the case, Hasbro feels that they've learned from their mistakes and can do better. So, you know what? If it failed, what's the next step? Go woke, right? Because anything that goes woke never goes broke, right?
I mean, Captain Marvel, according to you guys, was the biggest example of get woke, go broke, and that movie is the 23rd highest grossing movie of all time, and it made over $1 billion. Black Panther, a lot of you people also said that would get woke and go broke, and it was a cultural phenomenon. Like, why do they think this get woke, go broke thing has been demonstrably shown to be true 100% of the time? It hasn't. The times where there have been movies that they say get woke, go broke, where they failed, are always circumstances where the movie itself is bad. Ghostbusters 2016. I think that movie isn't funny. I think that movie's bad. Its badness is completely different from the fact that it's all women in the movie. It's just a bad movie that happens to star women. Like, I don't understand this idea that somehow the wokeness, and by wokeness they usually mean like women or people of color being involved in the production, somehow dooms a movie when it's not the case. Wonder Woman, another movie starring a woman, directed by a woman, did fine, did very well.
That never happens.
Tucker White 24, aren't people like this guy the same people who mocked the left for their snowflakes? How do you get this worked up over an all-female Power Rangers and not have any self-awareness? It's not even all-female, it just says majority female. So, like, there are usually 5 Power Rangers and then they add a 6th Ranger later, like the Green Ranger or the White Ranger. But in this, so there might be 3 women and 2 men, or maybe even 4 women and a man, right? Like, who would care? It's just, it's Power Rangers, man. It doesn't matter.
Never happens. Right now, they're cooking up a relaunch of the franchise, and our sources have told us they're planning to mix up the gender balance of the team. Yeah! Brave and beautiful, everyone. Brave and beautiful. Though there have been many incarnations of the Power Rangers over the years, the classic Mighty Morphin Power Rangers team is most fondly remembered. The squad featured 3 boys and 2 girls, but apparently that is bad. That is very, very bad. That's a no-no. That's not enough women. So,
dude, it doesn't matter, right? Just because there's gonna be an extra woman doesn't mean, and look, it even says all they're gonna change is the Red Ranger will be a woman instead of a dude. So it's gonna be a team with 3 girls and 2 boys. That's fine. It doesn't matter. Why do you care? It's not even an all-woman team, and even if it was, fine. Who cares? It's Power Rangers. They say it's morphin time and beat up Japanese monsters. Like, what? Does it matter?
But the reboot will alter the balance by making the Red Ranger a girl, meaning we'll get a team with 3 girls and 2 boys. Wow! So stunning, so brave. While
dude, no one said it's stunning and brave. This is the shit that I hate about South Park. Douchebags like this then quote it like it's gospel, and because, like, South Park made a specific joke about a specific thing, they're like, I can apply this to everything now, and if I quote South Park, it'll make me look like a big brain boy. And it's so stupid.
This only slightly affects the overall composition of the team. It should make a difference to the film's feel, as the Red Ranger is traditionally the group's leader. So now they're making the leader a female, because apparently you can't have dudes.
Catalina Gearbox for $5. I want to be the first gay Power Ranger, and he would be purple.
That's not equality. I don't know. I don't understand the logic behind this.
I think there has been a purple Ranger. Yeah, okay. Purple Ranger. This one. And this one. These ones.
I just don't. But I think that they're really just doing this because Hollywood just continues to think, for some reason, I don't know how they manage to continue to be this stupid, that if they just push this woke type of nonsense out.
Dude, why is it woke? Specifically, explain to me why you think it's woke for one of the Power Rangers to be a woman that wasn't prior. What makes that woke? Because it's a woman? Dude, it's just having a woman as the leader instead of a dude. Every Power Rangers team has been led by a dude. Why not mix it up? That doesn't necessarily make it woke. It's just different.
Out there, they're going to get tons of support in the theaters. And it's just not the case. Okay? It's just not the case. People are tired of this. People are tired of the identity politics. People are tired.
Not necessarily. I mean, you guys have been tired of it since, like, day one. But you've always have been. Because things before identity politics always centered around you. So I get that. It's selfish and childish, but I get it. But at the end of the day, like, you're sick of it, but you always have been. You're not a gauge of if the general public is sick of understanding, like, oh, there are people other than straight white dudes out there. Maybe they should also be shown in media.
Of the political agendas that are being pushed in our entertainment. She won't be the first female Red Ranger in the franchise, though, as the 2012 show of Power Rangers, which nobody cares about, so good job on that.
I mean, dude, you don't care about it because you're not 8 years old. I'm sure plenty of kids, like, enjoyed... What was the Power Rangers in 2012? Excuse me. Samurai. In Power Rangers Samurai, apparently at some point there's a female Red Ranger or something, because they said in 2012. Although this one looks like a dude, so maybe it's just like a special thing or something. Female Red Ranger. So there was a female Red Ranger in Samurai at some point. It looks like, oh, I can't show this. Saban's really choosy about, like, clips and stuff, and I don't want to get demonetized. So it's not even like a new thing. Who cares? Tetsuyo Dragneel with 5 bits. There's been a female Red Ranger leader, a female Pink leader, a female White Ranger leader. It's not a new concept for Super Sentai, and even if it was, there's no issue. Right, that's what I'm feeling. It doesn't... Go look at Sushi Mom's message where she linked a video of some dude saying she doesn't help anyone. Oh god, how far back is it? I don't see a link. Link it again, I guess? But I'm doing this video right now, so I can do it later.
And then, apparently, that's not the only bit of news. The other bit of news is that the Power Rangers reboot will reportedly make Blue Ranger the G in the alphabet. That is right.
Okay.
Wow. So stunning, everyone.
Dude, like, why wouldn't there be a gay Blue Ranger? Do you understand that, for one thing, especially if it's, like, based on Mighty Morphin again, David Yost, who played Billy, the Blue Ranger, the original Blue Ranger, you might recognize him, Billy Yost. He was named Billy, by the way, after Bryan Cranston, because Bryan Cranston worked on Power Rangers. He did monster voices, if you didn't know that. Anyway, Billy Yost, or David Yost, sorry, Billy was his character, was a gay man. Well, I say was. Is a gay man. And one of the reasons he left Power Rangers because he was bullied by the cast. Or not even by the cast, by the crew. I don't know how the cast felt about him. But the crew bullied him so bad he ended up leaving Power Rangers. And that's why he ended up leaving. Very, very sad stuff. So making the Blue Ranger in the Power Rangers movie gay is a nod to that. So maybe shut your mouth before you think you know what you're talking about Power Rangers.
So stunning. The 2017 Power Rangers film was
yeah, Billy Cranston is the full name of the Blue Ranger. He's named after Bryan Cranston.
Not very well received, blah, blah, blah. But that isn't the only changes this new chapter will take. According to our sources, the studio is also planning to make the Blue Ranger the G in the alphabet in the upcoming Power Rangers reboot. Wow. So incredibly stunning. Like, seriously, this is just like, this obviously means that automatically the movie's gonna be good, right? Because, you know, if you
here he is talking about it.
And I just hope that he keeps the cast around for like maybe 3 seasons and then maybe decides to replace him. It's a good question. It's actually a really serious question for me. So if I cry, I apologize in advance. So yeah, you know, all that me getting old and going off to some foreign planet or something, I don't know. I wasn't there for any of that. I don't know anything about it. I've never watched the episodes, but
yeah, when he left, basically they say that Billy, at the point Billy leaves the show, he's no longer a Power Ranger. He's retired being a Power Ranger. He's basically a tech person for the team. So he stays back at the base and he invents stuff and he helps like manage the Megazord and all that mechanical stuff. At some point, David Yost just disappears from the show and they come back and Billy has turned into an old man. It's not played by David Yost, it's a different guy playing old man Billy. And it's explained that this is the side effect of some time shenanigans that happened in a previous season that didn't affect anyone else, but it's now affected Billy. This is a way to get Billy off the show, and cast him as a new person, as a new actor, and explain how they can get rid of him. So then, old Billy goes to Aquitar, which is a different planet, which is where the alien rangers are from, so he can, like, drink from their version of the Fountain of Youth. It turns him back into the right age, but he decides to stay on Aquitar because he has fallen in love with an alien woman there. Which, honestly, the fact that David Yost left the show and just walked off the set one day because he was being harassed so badly because of he was gay, and then making Billy leave the show because he fell in love with a woman, that's pretty fucked up. That's a fucked up thing to do. But anyway, they use like stock footage of Billy that they're like, oh, the reception's bad, and they basically have a bad voiceover acting like it's young Billy saying that he's gonna leave. But it's very poorly done.
I walked off set one day during the middle of lunch, during halfway through the day. I just had made a decision. I'd been thinking about it for a good week. And the reason that I walked off is because I was called faggot one too many times. So I had just heard that several times while working on the show from creators, producers, writers, directors. It's not that people can't talk about me and have their opinion about me, but continuing to work in an environment like that is really difficult. And I myself was struggling with who I was or what I was, and to be made fun of on some level, or to be stereotyped or put into a category and sort of saying you're not. Basically, I just felt like I was continually being told I'm not worthy of where I am.
Tucker White 24 with a bit. So in summation, this guy's argument is, oh lordy lordy, I do declare the Blue Ranger is good for nothing sodomite. Someone fetch my fainting couch, for I have the vapors, basically. Yeah, the chud guy is basically just mad that a gay character exists.
I am because I'm quote-unquote a gay person and I'm not supposed to be an actor and you can't be a superhero. That's sort of the vibe that I was getting. And I know that my co-stars were called in a couple times to different producers' offices and questioned about my sexuality, which is kind of a humiliating experience to hear that and to find that out. So there was just a lot of issues. It just felt like a bad marriage. And I could either stay and finish 6 more months, do the second movie and finish 6 more months of the show, or just, I don't know, I guess I was kind of worried about my life. I was worried that I might take my own life. So in order for me to get a handle on what was going on, I needed to leave when I left. And so that's sort of why I left the show.
It's effed up. It really is.
The more wokeness you put in a movie, then that just equals quality, right? No. Not at all. Not at all. And it's very clear that...
Did I point out, by the way, this guy hasn't levied a single piece of substantive criticism against anything about this? He's just like, what? A woman is the Red Ranger? Oh, a gay ranger? That's an homage to the original actor who was bullied off the set for being gay? It's the most snowflake shit ever. I can't believe these people think people on the left are snowflakes when they can't even handle stuff like this. It's ridiculous.
Since this is like the very first information that we are getting about this film, that this is the type of nonsense that they are trying to push first and foremost into the movie. Now, if they had
this guy made a video on the She-Ra reboot, considering how much of the gay is in it? Probably.
Actually just, you know, made the movie and not had made a big deal about this type of stuff, then there's a chance that the movie could have been good. But when you start to see movies and studios pushing this type of garbage about their movies.
Pushing this type of garbage. Dude, for one thing, this isn't a press release. This is a rumor. This is a rumor that might not even be true, posted to some fan site. And you're like, they're pushing this garbage down my throat. Dude, someone's just like, if this is a legitimate leak, is just saying like, hey, there's talks, and there's gonna be a female Red Ranger leader, and there's gonna be, the Blue Ranger's gonna be gay. Like, okay? That's not being shoved down your throat any more than heteronormativity existing is shoving it down people's throats. It kind of is when that's exclusively all you get. But I don't say like, oh, the Red Ranger's a man in this. You're shoving, like, the patriarchy down my throat. That's not something I say. So why are you so triggered over the fact that in 1 out of 25 Power Rangers teams to ever exist, there's going to be, like, a female lead? Who cares?
Before the movie has even been really officially had any sort of announcement, then that's just not a good look. And it just means that this is the type of garbage that you want to continue to pursue with the movie that you are making. But not everything will be brand new in the next movie, as there may be a stellar blast from the past for old school fans. Yeah, and obviously not very loyal to the old school fans, because you're already going to be altering stuff that people have been loving for decades now.
Dude, when's the last time you watched an episode of Power Rangers? Legitimately, has it been 20 years? Because I very much doubt you're some diehard fan that cares about the integrity of Power Rangers lore.
Of course, the lack of representation of the alphabet characters in film have been a cause of concern for some time now. Such a concern. Such a concern. But apparently not for Hollywood, because Hollywood continues to push this type of stuff.
Oh no, Hollywood's pushing the reality that women in leadership positions and gay people existing. How dare you push reality down my throat? I want to live in my mom's basement with my Lord of the Rings poster and pretend that it's 1957 and women and gays are told to shut up and like it. Dude, stop. Grow up. We live in a world that's very diverse. It makes sense that movies are going to reflect that diversity.
In ways where they compromise quality of storytelling and of characters. So, you know, I mean, hey, if that's what they want to do, if that's what they want to continue to do, then they can do that all they want. Honestly, I don't really need a new Power Rangers movie anyway, so if this one...
Okay, so then shut the fuck up. Then why do you care? Why do you care? I don't need a new Power Rangers movie anyway. Great. Don't watch it. You're an adult man. Like, who cares?
If one fails too, then I really don't...
No one is telling you have to watch a Power Rangers movie. Like, most people who even liked Power Rangers as a kid, I wouldn't expect to watch a Power Rangers movie as an adult. I get it. Even compared to something like the Marvel movies, Power Rangers is like a kid's franchise. I like it as an adult because of how silly and fun it is, but like, I get it. I totally get it. Power Rangers is aimed at a very young audience, and a lot of the stuff in it is very kitty silly stuff. I don't expect you to enjoy it as an adult. It's shocking that I do, but no one can force you to watch it, and they're not. So maybe stop getting so mad when you realize that they're gonna have one more woman on the team than they usually do. And just chill out and don't watch it if you don't want to.
I don't care. I really don't care if this one fails too. I definitely won't be going to see it if this is the type of nonsense that they're going to be pushing into the film.
Nonsense. Pushing nonsense. Nonsense being a woman is the leader and a gay person existing. Nonsense. That's just the world. That's just reality.
They're literally just changing these things just for the identity politics of it.
Also, I don't think it's going to be the Mighty Morphin team again. I don't think they're going to reboot again the Mighty Morphin team. This might be a new team of Power Rangers, and I've heard rumors that they're going to bring back some of the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers as, like, a mentor thing. So they'll acknowledge, like, that other Power Rangers have existed, but this is a new team. That's not trampling on anything. Like, in the first episode of the Power Rangers, Zordon, big, you know, floating head in a tube, says, like, there are, like, multiple rules to being a Power Ranger. Firstly, you mustn't reveal your identities to anyone. You mustn't, escalate a battle unless Rita forces your hand. Stuff like that. None of the rules were, and the Red Ranger has to be a man. At no point did Zordon say that.
Yup, no agenda at all. None whatsoever. Wow, they still don't get it. They keep taking properties where the majority fan base is male and putting a feminist spin on it and wondering why it fails. Interesting. Interesting how it continues to fail every time, isn't it?
What did you say about it failing every time? You want to repeat that? How about this one? You want to repeat it here? How about this one? You want to repeat that? Just checking.
Very, very interesting. But yet Hollywood continues to not wake up about this. Even more, the feminist audience themselves don't even support these movies. Exactly. Exactly. Where were all the women that were supposed to go support Charlie's Angels? Where were all...
Dude, I hate when these people bring up Charlie's Angels as an example. Charlie's Angels didn't fail because it was like a female movie and it was like marketing itself on female empowerment. Charlie's Angels failed because no one gives a shit about Charlie's Angels.
All the women that were supposed to go support Birds of Prey. The majority of the audience that
Birds of Prey failed because people are like, is this a sequel to Suicide Squad? Oh, that movie was really bad. The DC movies are bad. I don't want to see this. That would be why. It followed a trend where more or less there's been a downward slope in the box office returns for DC movies because they're almost all bad. Aquaman made some money. Wonder Woman made some money. Shazam made a little money, but it still didn't make that much. It just had a low budget. But overall, if you look at the trend of box office returns for the DC movies, they've gone down and down and down. Except for Joker, which again isn't a DCEU movie. It's its own, like, standalone thing.
and saw Birds of Prey were still male. Anyway, you know, like, obviously none of this has been officially
Yeah, I didn't like Aquaman either. A lot of people said they liked it. I didn't get it. I thought Aquaman sucked just as much as the other DC movies.
confirmed by the studio, but just keep this in mind as we start to get more information about the Power Rangers reboot that is apparently coming out, the reboot of the reboot, because Hollywood is just trash, and they don't know what they're doing anymore. They don't know how to make things to please the audiences. They don't know how to make things that will actually entertain people.
I mean, Disney's made some of the most profitable movies of all time with the Avengers movies, and even the Star Wars movies that you people decry made millions of dollars, so I don't know about that. I think that's more a Paramount problem, which is the people who own the rights to the movie Power Rangers stuff.
So
let me see what Paramount movies are coming up. Paramount movies. Let's see. Terminator. All the Terminator sequels are bad. The Cloverfield Paradox, which was so bad it got shuffled to Netflix. They do have the Mission Impossible movies, which a lot of people like. I'm not a fan, but a lot of people like them. The bad Ghost in the Shell movie. The awful Transformers movies. The awful Ninja Turtle movies. Yeah, it seems like the problem is when Paramount tries to do big blockbuster action movies, they put out schlock. That's their problem. not identity politics. Their problem is that they take cues from Michael Bay's Transformers.
Just focused on their woke garbage, and I'm tired of it. For F's sakes, just tell a good story that respects what came before.
How is having a woman and a gay person on the team, a woman leader and a gay person being on the team, not respecting what came before? Last time I checked, Tommy the White Ranger wasn't going like, white power, and like screaming about, like, we can't have any gays on the team, right, fellas? Kimberly tries to say something and he says, silence, wench! Like, that's not what Power Rangers is like.
Exactly.
You can the implication that you can't tell a good story with a female leader and one gay character is so telling to me of what these people think about, like, women and queer people. Very strange. Tatsuyo dragged Neil with 5 bits. I know it's way too soon, but when they eventually make Shuri the new Black Panther, I don't think I'm ready for these people to pretend like they care and complain about how they're disgracing Chadwick by making Black Panther a woman now. Oh yeah, it's gonna be real bad. It's gonna be so bad.
But no one has the drive to respect what came before in Hollywood anymore. We've seen that with so many franchises. We've seen that with Star Wars. We're now seeing that with things like Marvel. Now we're seeing it with Power Rangers. We're probably going to be seeing...
What are you seeing in Marvel that's more woke than it's ever been? Like, what? The fact that there are women in superhero movies in leads? That's not woke. How is that woke?
With the Lord of the Rings series that Amazon's working on as well.
That's right.
So yeah, I'm sick of it. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below what you
Love
think.
yourself 2000. Thanks for following, and
Tucker
Tucker White 24 with a bit. What do these guys think a reboot is if nothing's changed? I don't know.
There's nothing funny about the tools of
This
capitalism.
idiot Hero Hey thinks I'm not out there in the world actually helping people. Oh god.
Take a look at that point, though. Here's the final comments in the report. You got this one person, Jules, saying, finally somebody said it about the age thing. You got this other person saying, you hanging around the wrong community, kiddo.
That's my favorite Power Rangers series. Oh gosh. Zeo. Probably Zeo.
And then this other person, Atheist Mom, who says, well, someone has to call people out, apparently, to remind them that she is a middle school student. You know what, Atheist Mom? If you really care about this, get off Twitter, stop crying about anime, and go help the kids in the real world who actually are suffering from terrible things, because they are out there. Unfortunately for them, you have people like you who are too lazy to do anything about the real issues in the world, so they like...
I hate when people arguing on Twitter are like, why don't you go out in the real world? Like, guys, we're on Twitter. Calm down.
To pretend on Twitter that they're doing something when they really aren't. You're just a bigoted weirdo who is too lazy to actually make a good difference to the world.
I have no idea what the context in this was.
The final point.
I don't even know what you guys were arguing
from
about.
This person, Allison, that says, remember that one time Naoko Takaishi drew Usagi, like I said?
Oh, people were sexualizing Sailor Moon? Gotcha.
Without, clothing in 1997, because how could we forget? Now, I'm not going to go verify that she really did that, because I'm in the middle of my work day. I'm not going to go looking up a bunch of that kind of art right now to go verify if that's true or not. So, I don't know if that's true or not. Make of that what you will. If it is true, it's a pretty good point. It's pretty funny, especially given the faux outrage about this. That's just my 2 cents, though.
Jesus Christ. I hate when people say faux outrage when they want to downplay that people are actually mad about what they did or said. Faux outrage. It's not faux. What are you talking about? What about it is faux? Ugh. Anyway, here, I'll put this guy under chuds. Let's see what else we have. What's the quartering up to? Do 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 do. Spotify censors Joe Rogan. Honestly, good. Fuck Joe Rogan. Oh, there's no Brie Larson videos. I don't know if I want to watch any of Jeremy's shit today if he's not doing Brie Larson. Okay, does Doomcock have anything I want to look at? Screw it, let's do
Personally
this.
appointed.
So, Doomcock, who we were talking about earlier, does all this, like, anti-SJW reactionary content. He also says that he has sources inside, like, CBS and Disney. He doesn't. He's lying. We know this because people have literally trolled him on 4chan. He gets all his, like, information from 4chan leaks. So, of course, all of it's untrue. It's almost always untrue. The only times he's ever been right are times that, like, big, like, movie premises have leaked and everyone had access. So, like, Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker, he had access to because everyone had access to the plot of that. That leaked pretty early on. Excuse me. And stuff like that. He's been trolled before, too. People on 4chan making made-up posts and seeing if they can bait him into making a video about it, and of course he does. And when he does make these that are demonstrably false because people, like, are trolling him, and they even have a thing where, like, the first letter or the last letter in the post will spell out something like troll or fake or whatever, he still doesn't realize it. He goes with the story, and in those stories he says, "My source backs this up." Again, demonstrating that his source is his own ass. He doesn't have any sources. It's just a thing he says to try and get the people who click on his videos to believe that what he says carries weight when it doesn't. He literally takes things that people shitpost on 4chan about and passes them off like they're legitimate leaks from inside studios. It's so stupid.
Greetings, my friends. I want to thank you all for subscribing to this channel. If you are a subscriber, please check to make sure that you are still subscribed because YouTube unsubscribes people every day. And if you have not subscribed, please consider supporting this channel. We could use your help in our war to save pop culture.
Oh god. Who wants to look at his Patreon? How much money does this dude's Patreon have? What do you think? It's gonna be sickening.
Greetings, future subject.
629 patrons. Who knows at what levels? It doesn't look like he actually has that public. Yikerinos. Tucker White 24 with a bit. You should post a rumor on 4chan to F with him. Honestly, that'd be pretty funny. That would be pretty funny. Didn't we already check? Probably. I forgot what it was, though, so.
Thank you, and enjoy the video. Picard is dead, Star Trek is in flames, and Kurtzman is finished.
The funny thing is, I don't, like, he says this stuff. Meanwhile, you got people like me. I enjoy Lower Decks so far. I like Discovery Season 2. I like a lot of the short treks. I keep my CBS Access account active all year just for the Star Wars content, and I also get the Twilight Zone, which I like quite a bit. The first season of Twilight Zone wasn't very good. Second season's good. If you like the Twilight Zone, go check out Season 2 of the Twilight Zone reboot. It's on CBS All Access. But, like, the point is that even when there aren't active Star Trek or Twilight Zone shows going, I've kept that as a reoccurring thing, as a reoccurring payment every month. So how many people like me are out there who, even though, like, I think there are a lot of things that could change and be bettered about Star Trek, how many people like me are still continuing their subscriptions? I imagine they wouldn't be making all these Star Trek spin-off shows if they weren't making a lot of money. They're making money on this. It wouldn't make any sense for them to continue to do so if it wasn't the case.
These are the latest rumors, from multiple sources too numerous to mention. My friends, I don't think there has ever been a time when Star Trek has been so low. Even after...
Do you not remember? Well, of course, neither of us is going to remember. I don't think either of us are this old. There was a period between, like, the original series and the movies where all you had was Star Trek the Animated Series. Are you not aware of that? Not a good show.
After it was canceled in 1969, Star Trek still burned brightly in the hearts of fans, but now Star Trek is just burning. And most...
There have been Star Trek shows I don't like, therefore the entire franchise is retroactively ruined. No one tell this guy about Star Trek Enterprise. He might have an aneurysm.
No one cares anymore. In a case of almost certainly too little, too late, Emma Watts at Paramount is finally trying to fix things, and that's bad news for Kurtzman, who is, after all, the problem.
And again, I mentioned this earlier in the stream, I don't like Alex Kurtzman either. He's a hack. Alex Kurtzman is an absolute hack, and I don't like that he continues to get work. He's poster boy for failing upward in Hollywood. Nonetheless, that doesn't mean I'm gonna buy any rumor on 4chan just because I don't like the guy. Like, if he gets taken off of Star Trek at some point, great, I'll be happy about it, because I think there are better people to run it. I don't know who they are, but I know that he's not the best person to be in charge of it. Nonetheless, I'm not gonna believe stuff on 4chan just because I don't like the guy.
But what is really going on behind the scenes? What I'm about to share with you is information I cannot independently verify, so I must ask you to regard it as rumor and take it with several pinches of salt.
He always says this in every video, but nonetheless, he makes videos about it, and his fans treat it as fact. And then in videos after the fact, he'll be like, I reported on this earlier. Dude, stop falling for 4chan bait.
But that said, I have seldom heard so many rumors from different sources all converging like this, and the naked facts on the ground are so starkly obvious.
A bunch of people on 4chan are trolling me, so it must be true.
That I must report, along with the normal reservations associated with any rumors, a high degree of confidence in the plausibility of these rumors. The simple, stark, and undeniable fact is Star Trek sucks. Under Kurtz...
Great. So, if you don't like Star Trek, stop watching it. That's fine. That's okay. You don't have to like it. If you just like TNG and TOS and Deep Space Nine, those still exist. They're on Netflix. Go enjoy. That's great. I'm happy for you. Why spend your entire channel bitching about a show you don't like? Seems like an utter waste of time, but hey, do you. This guy looks like oh god, what does he look like? He looks like a Cyberman, but like if it was put together by a drunk person who doesn't have a photograph to go off of, and they're like, make a Cyberman helmet, and they're like, oh god, and their memory's a little fuzzy. Daddy Sume, Janeway was best captain, fight me. I forgot about Voyager.
This flaming bag of poop left on the porch of fandom is wretched beyond belief. A horrid, abject failure of spectacular proportions that is stone-cold murdered this once proud franchise.
Again, I present to you Star Trek Enterprise.
This
Daddy Sume with a bit. Good, everyone should. It's awful.
Is what happens when you put assholes with no love of a franchise.
I think Baja Blast really likes Voyager, because that's the one she watched growing up. I watched select episodes of Voyager. I really like some of the Voyager characters. I like the Doctor, but that's about it. Tom Paris is okay, I guess.
In charge of a franchise. You leave the franchise alone with the mercenary in question, then you come back to find your franchise in the bathtub, packed with ice and missing its kidneys, being sold on the black market for cash. Star Trek?
Imagine being this melodramatic about a show you don't like, or multiple shows you don't like, and comparing it to someone literally having their organs stolen from them, and then being like, oh, by the way, people on the left are snowflakes.
Is in the tub without its kidneys, and Alex Kurtzman is in a wet market overseas selling its organs. Now it's all over.
Daddy Sume with a bit. Can we talk about how uncomfortable Deep Space Nine made me with the religious overtones and focus on faith and stuff like that in hard sci-fi show? It really bugs me. I understand that, but I do find it interesting that you're in a situation in Deep Space Nine where the Federation, which is pretty irreligious, like, it wasn't until more recent shows where they've showcased certain Starfleet officers with religious beliefs, which I think is a little silly, but I mean, I get it. In the future, it's very unlikely that people are going to stop believing in their religions or their faith or whatever. Faith was a big theme of Discovery Season 2. Anyway, Deep Space Nine is interesting because it shows the very irreligious Federation having to deal with a very religious culture. And that's interesting. That's an interesting situation for them to be in. And seeing them have to, like, deal with the differing cultures and the culture clash, I kind of like that. I don't have to believe what the Bajorans believe to understand it's an interesting situation to see them interact with people who do not believe in the prophets the way they do.
Danny Bailey, and the harvest is in. These are the rumors I've heard, all of them, and this is fairly likely what is going on with the kidneyless, ice-packed body of the franchise, formerly known as Star Trek. Let's start with what we know for sure. On August 7th, Deadline...
Daddy Sume with a bit. Agree, but the conversion is Sisko was just uncomfortable. He was basically forced into being their messiah. True. That's true.
Published an article stating that Emma Watson...
In fairness, that's how a lot of messiahs in religions are. You don't necessarily get to opt in. You just are that.
Watt's top priority at Paramount was to figure out how to reboot Star Trek. That right there is absolutely an unequivocal public confession that Star Trek is in trouble.
What? They're talking about the movies. They're talking about Paramount, the movie maker. They're talking about the fact that, for one thing, the guy who played Chekhov unfortunately passed away in an accident. So they're not going to be able to redo him. They already did a trilogy with Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto as Spock. And it didn't do super well. So, like, what are you going to do? You reboot the franchise, and they're trying to figure out a way to do that. That has nothing to do with the TV shows.
After all, you don't worry about rebooting something that is successful. Emma Watts is the president of the Paramount Motion Picture Group, personally appointed by Shari Redstone, and partly responsible for fabulous films in the past, like Deadpool. So it is no laughing matter that Watts has acknowledged that
Giving this person credit for Deadpool is kind of funny when it took, like, Ryan Reynolds leaking the test footage to YouTube to get anyone to allow them to make the Deadpool movie. Like, no one wanted to make the Deadpool movie until they saw the fan response.
Star Trek is in need of a reboot and is actively looking to plug...
Dude, they're talking about the movie series. You get that, right? You understand that the movie series is different than the TV shows? We haven't had a movie that takes place in the TV show universe since... not Insurrection, the one that's after that. The one where there's a clone of Picard. I forget the name of that one for some reason. Anyway, it's been like 20 years since we've gotten a Star Trek movie that takes place in the same universe as the TV shows. So they're talking about the movies and how to reboot that.
The massive holes in the hull of
Nemesis,
the Star Trek
thank you.
brand. This article, an announcement, was a distress flare shot into the sky, as well as a shot across Kurtzman's franchise-destroying bow. An FU message...
Daddy Sume with a bit fair also, but my main discomfort comes at the end where he puts all his faith in the prophets and stuff like that. If they had avoided the faith and religious parts of it and focused on the wormhole aliens as other dimensional beings and not gods, I think that would have made it unequivocally the best Star Trek series. I mean, I guess. I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. What the Bajorans call the prophets are clearly interdimensional beings not bound by time, not dissimilar from the Q. And, like, they exist. What you choose to label them as is sort of whatever you want. You could argue Q from Star Trek The Next Generation, and he showed up in Deep Space Nine, like, once. Like, you could argue Q is a god, right? He has unlimited power. He fits basically every definition for what a god is. So, I don't know.
In a newly emptied bottle. The party's over. And it's time to sober up and fix Star Trek. Since Kurtzman is the problem with Star Trek, this...
if you're gonna say there's a problem with Star Trek, and I do think it's missing something that it had in the past that it doesn't have anymore, part of it, I think, is, like, slowing down and just enjoying, like, I don't know, maybe it's because I grew up watching a lot of, like, Next Generation, but that, like, cozy feel, and the idea that, like, oh, we're just gonna take scenes where we just have characters interacting with each other at the bar, and there's not necessarily some high-stakes thing happening. It's just, like, exploring the characters and their interactions with one another. I wish there was more of that in modern Star Trek, but I don't think that's something that's entirely the fault of, oh gosh, now I'm forgetting the guy's name. The guy that he's bitching about, right?
There's nothing funny about
there are a lot of people working on the Star Trek shows. It's not only Alex Kurtzman's fault. Daddy Sume with a bit. Yes, but Sisko giving them control of his fate and letting their choices be his, giving them all his agency, just seems to be, I don't know, in controversion to Star Trek's thesis, or at least one of its main themes, that our intelligence and our ingenuity enables us to overcome anything. Sure. But that's a lot of Deep Space Nine. Like, Sisko always sort of went against what the traditional idea of what a Star Trek captain would do, right? Like, a lot of Star Trek captains, I would argue both Kirk and Picard are, like, how do I put this? They're not consequentialists. Consequentialist? Why am I having such a hard time saying this today? Either way, they look at their actions specifically like it's moral or it's not because of its morality in and of itself. I don't care about what it's going to cause. I believe that certain things are right because they're right. Whereas Sisko kind of looked at, like, do the ends justify the means, right? Deep Space Nine was always sort of a look at, like, the Federation, their belief systems, and if they hold up. Yeah, Sisko punched Q in the face. Exactly. I think that illustrates the difference between him and some other Star Trek captains. So I think it makes sense for the show in the end to sort of explore things differently than other shows might have. Rising Phoenix 13, thank you so much for continuing your subscription.
This announcement was a problem for Kurtzman. I have heard that during a video meeting, Kurtzman
I have heard. I read this on 4chan on the TV board.
Lost his shit when confronted with how badly Star Trek has done and pitched a temper tantrum. And I heard that this meeting may have been recorded. If anyone has this recording, gee whiz, I sure would love to see it.
It doesn't exist because this didn't happen. Because regardless of what you think of Alex Kurtzman, and I don't think he's very good at his job, nonetheless, he is a professional in the industry and has been for, like, decades. He's not gonna throw a temper tantrum inside CBS Studios. Come on. Stop looking at 4chan rumors and believing them. My God.
Please consider sending it to me. An unhinged rant is a terrible thing to waste, and Doomcock would be eternally grateful for the laugh. The point of all this being, in this article, along with another article published in close proximity to it by Scott Mendelson in Forbes magazine, stating that Paramount failed to turn Star Trek into a blockbuster franchise, Star Trek is being set forth as a failing, if not failed franchise, and
Dude, again, they're talking about the movies, which I agree, there's a lot of problems with the movies. The movies treat Star Trek like a big, action-y, Star Wars-y franchise. Look at the Mr. Plinkett reviews for explanations on that. I pretty much agree with, like, Mike in terms of, like, the reasons that the Star Trek reboot, like the Kelvinverse stuff, doesn't quite work. It tries to turn Star Trek into something it's not, which is this big, action-y space battle franchise, and that's never been what the show is. So, I get that, and I agree, but that's a completely different discussion from what's going on with the CBS All Access stuff, right? Okay? Stop trying to conflate the two.
Kurtzman is nowhere mentioned as part of the solution. Ostensibly in his position of overseeing everything to do with Star Trek as per his contract, the fact that Watts is depicted as being in charge, as opposed to Kurtzman, speaks volumes, typed in all caps with tons of expletives and
I don't know. That is a good question.
Colorful metaphors about just how much trouble Kurtzman is in for the handling of Star Trek. Essentially, Continuing my earlier metaphor, not only is Star
Doomcock's mind must be like that Always Sunny in Philadelphia conspiracy board meme.
Trek a corpse
Pepe Silva! Pepe Silva! Pepe Silva!
that is missing its kidneys, but with minimal merchandising, no international distribution, and Star Trek Lower Decks with a 35% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
I kind of like Star Trek Lower Decks. We've only gotten the first 6 episodes or so, and I only watched the first one so far, but I thought it was funny. I like it.
Star Trek's dead body has been sold to necrophiliacs, who in addition to the usual orifices, are using the kidney holes.
Looks up hyperbolic in the dictionary. Sees picture of man with milk jug on head.
In light of all these facts published in the mainstream media, here are the latest rumors published on 4chan. Netflix drops rights for Star Trek Discovery / Amazon refuses to fund Picard. A post by Anonymous. If you haven't...
Amazon? What? Amazon isn't paying for the CBS stuff. What are you talking about? CBS pays for all that stuff. CBS All Access is a channel that is hosted on Amazon, but Amazon has nothing to do with the funding of the shows. What are you talking about?
Seen any trailers for the Star Trek Discovery internationally, you're not alone. There's a worldwide blackout on marketing for the show outside of the US. There's a reason. Netflix has refused to renew their deal with CBS over Star Trek Discovery, as the viewership the show attracts is not worth the exorbitant fee that is being asked of them. This fee was so high in Season 1, it virtually paid for the production of the season by itself. This, to my knowledge, is absolutely true from a number of articles and sources previously. However, Season 2 of Star Trek Discovery was among the lowest rated high-budget shows on the platform.
Cosmic Sean 92, bro, chill, it's just a TV show movie. It's okay if it changes, right?
Additionally, while Netflix did eventually air the short Trek webisodes, once they were provided by CBS as a, quote, make good, unquote, these were watched by an abysmally small audience that numbered in the tens of thousands internationally. This is why they did not air the second season.
I find that to be suspect considering, and again, it makes no sense because we're like discussing a 4chan post like it's valid in any way, shape, or form. I spend time on the like Star Trek subreddits and they talk about the short treks when they came out. So do I. I like the short treks a lot. So the fact that this is claiming that only tens of thousands of people have seen them, when I've literally been on the Star Trek subreddit and discussed them with a lot of people who really, really like them, I find that pretty hard to believe.
Of short treks. Well, I can attest to that. In fact, CBS, in its desperation for some kind of publicity regarding this disaster, actually posted all these short treks on YouTube, which was a huge mistake because we can actually see just how abysmally they have performed.
Okay, these have 58,035. This is already more than what you were saying.
I can tell you, as a YouTuber, I have had videos that have gotten more views in the first hour than a lot of these short treks have in total. It is that bad. That is abysmal when I, in an hour, can get more views than these short treks have in their lifetime on YouTube. CBS has been scrambling to work out new distribution plans for Star Trek Discovery internationally. The current plan is for it to air in some countries on their own all-access equivalents. For instance, in Australia on 10 all-access, or as it's known over there, 10 all-access. However, Netflix still has the rights to the first 2 seasons for another 6 months, so the show is unlikely to be broadcast until this expires and the entire show can be presented as one. The US and potentially Canada will be the only ones who get to see Star Trek Discovery Season 3 at its intended broadcast dates starting in October. Oh, lucky US and Canada.
I am excited to see Star Trek Discovery Season 3. Why do these people act like no one likes the show? It's fine if you don't like it. That's okay. I like it. Other people like it.
God, whatever did they do to deserve that?
Dr. Gamble, oh wow, people like fantasy and speculation more than reality? What are the odds?
The loss of Netflix funding is partially why Season 3 is the last season of Star Trek Discovery and why the show has been canceled. In the same vein,
they said this last year too about Season 2, that it was going to be the last season because of lack of funding or lack of interest. Meanwhile, they're talking about all kinds of spin-offs. They just did Lower Decks. They're talking about doing Strange New Worlds and a spin-off with, like, Section 31. Like, there's a million Star Trek spin-offs happening.
Amazon has not yet renewed their contract to run Picard Season 2 on Prime Video. The lack of this source of funding is partially why the studio is in such chaos over the production of future Picard. I'm not reporting these 4chan rumors solely on the basis of being published on 4chan, which...
Yes, you are. That's what you do with almost all your videos.
Which has in the past been tainted by planted disinformation.
Yeah, you've been trolled. You've been trolled multiple times. After this, we'll watch the video of someone explaining how they trolled him because it's quite funny.
Designed to discredit and identify leakers. I'm mentioning them because in a lot of ways they echo things I have been told by other sources. Here is what one of my sources tells me about these particular rumors. Okay, a lot more credibility to this leak than you would think with the disinformation. I don't want to say it's all right, but Picard is in complete chaos apparently. I fully believe most of these, not all, but 1 through 5, and the last one, 100%. By the way, skeptical about the second to last two, however. I have a suspicion it's accurate. And regarding Picard, my source says, got it confirmed, Picard is in complete chaos. They can't insure Patrick, he is over it. As well, the contracts may actually end in November. Indeed, prior to this leak, I received word from a source that production on Star Trek Picard Season 2 got pushed back indefinitely.
Part of that's probably coronavirus, if that's even true. But I have no reason to believe that the sources that you get from 4chan are reliable, because you make shit up.
This was from a source directly involved in the production. There has also been some very weird and bad news regarding some shooting that either recently began or is slated to begin. Shooting going under the label STD Season 4. This could certainly be mislabeled.
That's not true. You know how I know this isn't true? Because the abbreviation for Star Trek Discovery internally at CBS is not STD. It's Disco. That's what they call it. They've talked about this before. My God. Maybe actually know what you're talking about before you cite sources that completely lie.
Many.
We'll watch that in a minute.
Reshoots for the last few episodes of Discovery, or it could be something to do with some other series, or it could be disinformation. But it at least merits a mention in this report.
So it's just all you're saying is you read this on 4chan. If I want to read shit posts, I can go to 4chan myself. I don't need some Cyberman wannabe trying to read 4chan to me as if it's a valid source of information. Ugh.
Report. It may be a tricky way of trying to finagle money out of Netflix, essentially a desperation move to shoot Strange New Worlds, but label it officially as Star Trek Discovery Season 4, so that contractually Netflix might be forced to pay for it with the promise of merging the seasons.
That makes no sense and wouldn't happen. They're not gonna be like, do you know how quick that lawsuit would be if they said, oh, here's a new show with a new cast, but it's definitely Season 4 of this other show. Netflix would be like, nah, that's not happening. You can't just turn a different show into the show that we're supposed to pay for.
Sneaky way to meet certain legal requirements to milk Netflix out of more money as Netflix struggles to limp away from the bear trap that is Kurtzman's Star Trek. I have no idea regarding whether or not that is true, but I do know this. Star Trek...
You should just have that on screen at all times. This is all just 4chan posts, so it's probably BS. Just to cover yourself. I mean, you might as well be honest.
is a kidneyless corpse, sold to necrophiles, taking its body down the
Dr. Gamble, X-Files theme intensifies.
river to meet a bunch of hillbillies who thinks it looks a lot like Ned Beatty and has a purty mouth. Down, 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 down. That's the new Star Trek theme, incidentally. Or at least, it should be. Oh, how far Star Trek has fallen. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry.
Ridiculous. Okay, so there's this video by this guy, Ketwalski, who, by the way, if you're looking for, like, a Star Trek YouTuber who doesn't buy into all this, like, you know, 4chan BS, really good Star Trek YouTuber, check him out. Check this video out in particular. The Fandom Menace tricked again. This is the second time he has gotten together with some people, planted false information on 4chan to see if they can bait Doomcock into making videos about it. And of course, he did. So, check out this video. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to trim out this part because I'm not just going to show this guy's video on YouTube. You know, just go check out his video. I'll link it in the description. But for those of us here at the Twitch stream, let's check it out, because it's pretty interesting.
Rumors and leaks flying around about Star Trek recently. I can barely keep up with it. It's honestly, it's exhausting. I've just constantly bombarded with messages from you guys to respond and to explain these things away and to give a response back to them. I mean, some of these things must be true, right? So many people are saying these things. They must be true. You know, it's not like 4chan has ever duped people before, and it's not like somebody, you know, would have tried to do that again. That would be ridiculous. That would be, I don't know, months worth of work to really build up a narrative and kind of set the stage and kind of just really work, you know, behind the scenes with different individuals to really build up a whole situation so that they could try to trick people into reporting things that weren't true. I mean, it would be an enormous amount of effort. So some of you guys may remember earlier this year, I did a video that exposed Doomcock for utilizing bogus sources from 4chan. Kind of blew up a little bit. People kind of used that around to kind of showcase the fact that the Fandom Menace is kind of full of crap when it comes to their Star Trek leaks and their Star Trek insider sources. And, you know, 4chan kind of made fun of him as well. They were all kind of in on it there. And after I made that video, you know, the guy who did the actual leaks and did build up this whole narrative for the Doomcock to report on, remember that was the whole Kurtzman punching the television situation. He reached out to me and we all kind of shared in some stories there and we laughed about it and everybody on the internet kind of laughed about it. Doomcock was embarrassed and he, you know, tried to brush it off like it was no big deal. And that was pretty much it, you know. His whole defense there, Doomcock's whole defense there was that this was a one-off situation. It was a bunch of trolls on 4chan, probably funded by CBS and the Illuminati, I assume, and all this other weird stuff. And he just kind of wrote it off like it was no big deal. This would never really happen. My other sources are solid. Don't worry. Even though in his original video about the punching of the television, he stated that his current primary source validated that whole entire story.
And I have found that by and large, these leaks are not only accurate, lining up with things my sources told me, but also in many cases, these leaks go beyond what my sources told me, providing a consistent...
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Tucker White 24, Illuminati, drink you bastards, drink. So, this is why when Doomcock says things like, my sources tell me, or my sources validate, it makes me laugh. Because we've already seen in situations where we know people made stuff up for 4chan because they were doing it intentionally to mess with him. He still says in those situations, my sources have confirmed this. I don't think he has any sources. I think he just says that because he thinks it lends credence to his channel. So he just says, so he has this 4chan rumor, and whatever it is, he says, and my sources tell me that this is accurate. There are no sources. If there are, they're messing with him. They just probably don't exist. He just says it because he thinks it makes him sound legitimate. It's ridiculous.
Depth of detail and verifiable results.
That's whatever. The whole thing there was written off as a one-off situation. So At that point, I had the kind of idea, well, if I'm able to get him to do it again, then we're showing a pattern of behavior, of utilizing untrustworthy situations and sources to really spin a narrative to get people wound up and into a frenzy of hating Star Trek. That is obviously his goal. Other people have similar goals or maybe variations on that, but that's really his specific goal. Is Doomcock's goal is to get them spun up to hate Alex Kurtzman and to hate the current iterations of Star Trek. That's his primary goal when it comes to Star Trek related videos that he makes. So if I'm able to continuously show that he uses bogus sources, and then when he says things like my other source confirmed this, it also leads to the fact that that source also is bogus, then I think that would go towards really supporting the claim that he doesn't really know what he's talking about in terms of Star Trek leaks. So that was an idea that popped into my head a little while ago. Maybe I would say
Cold
maybe a
Stare,
month or
thanks
so
for gifting a
after the
sub. I
whole
appreciate
original
that.
video kind of broke. So I reached back out to the guy or gal, I actually have no idea, who created the previous 4chan thread. I sent some ideas to him, and I was like, hey, is this something that you'd be willing to help me with? Do you like this idea? And, you know, this individual jumped right on it. They were like, sure, absolutely, because they think it's hilarious just as much as I think it's hilarious, and it's important to point out the fact that these guys, specifically Doomcock, uses a lot of bogus sources for Star Trek. Now, the whole thing with like, whoa, what about Star Wars? That's Hello Greedo's problem to deal with. That's not my problem to deal with. Hello Greedo can go through that. There's a lot of issues with the timeline of when these sources came out with the leaks of Star Trek, you know, Rise of the Skywalker or whatever the hell it was called. And so that's a separate thing. Again, we're talking about Star Trek here. So I presented my ideas to this 4chan person, and I don't really know too much about 4chan in terms of like the postings and the sharing and how all the different boards work. And
4chan?
this person's a little bit more familiar with that. So I wanted to work with them to kind of increase the likelihood that this plan would actually work out. So overall, the plan itself was very, very simple. It was very, very simple. So there was kind of 3 phases of it. The first phase was to generate a long-standing narrative, and then through different leaks through 4chan. Then, after that narrative piece was kind of established, we would then go ahead and start to push weirdly strange conspiracy over-the-top things similar to the Kurtzman punching the television thing to kind of get them to report on even stranger, weird things. And then we would then present the evidence of them utilizing these bogus sources and trying to pass it off as just rumor, but enough to get everybody wound up into thinking that it's absolutely true. So that plan was very simple. So let's start with the beginning piece here. And this took place over a period of months. And this is the key element to the plan working.
Andrew Dickerson asks, do you think chuds like Doomcock would have been upset if they were around when Deep Space Nine came out with a black captain? Probably, but a lot like the Star Trek they talk about now. It's not like when they... Doomcock, when they, like, don't like Star Trek currently, they don't come out and say, well, I don't like that the main character is, like, a black woman. They don't say that. Even though that's probably a large part of it, especially if what we talked about earlier in the connection between Doomcock and this Nazi character on BitChute, obviously that would annoy him then. So instead, they do basically proxy wars about it. They say, like, this isn't the Star Trek I grew up on. I don't like this Star Trek. Alex Kurtzman is literally ruining my childhood. Stuff like that. So... yes, I'm assuming if, let's say, Deep Space Nine came out today, or if YouTube existed back in the day and they were old enough to be on it, they would have bitched about Deep Space Nine, and they would have probably brought up all sorts of things like, this isn't like Star Trek The Next Generation or the original series, I don't like this and this and this and that. But they would never say, like, I just don't like that the captain, or commander, I guess, before he gets promoted to captain later in the series, they would never say it's because of his race, even if that was a reason they didn't like the show. People like that keep the mask on, quite literally in the case of Doomcock.
Because the Fandom Menace and the Fandom Menace supporters have a main pillar that they believe, which they'll probably change now after this video, but they have a main pillar tenet that they believe that if enough people are saying it and it's happening over an extended period of time on 4chan, then there must be some validity to what is being said.
Cotton Candy 903 with a bit. It always seems to go over these guys' heads that Star Trek has always been a very progressive show. Yeah. I don't understand. Steve Shives did a good video on this at one point about, like, what do conservatives see in Star Trek? And it was pretty interesting. He basically posits that when a conservative or a right-wing person views Star Trek, They don't see the, like, space communism utopia stuff. What they see is a universe governed by what is effectively a military organization. Because at the end of the day, that's what the Federation is. The Federation is a military organization, and it's a show about watching the crew of this military ship patrol the galaxy and solve problems, right? Like, just saying, I get it. I do understand that. What I don't understand is how they ignore all the progressive stuff that goes with it.
And they also have this whole thing where they say, like, oh, this leak seems really far-fetched. Does this make sense? And they come back and they say, well, this matches what I've been hearing from a lot of other locations for the last several months. So this all kind of connects. So the objective was to build up a false narrative that allowed the really zany, crazy rumors to kind of be able to build off of that. So that was kind of the foundation level, which is just generic kind of leaks. You know, we went ahead and did the Fandom Menace favorites. You know, Discovery's canceled, Picard's canceled, the ratings are terrible. You know, Lower Decks isn't going to happen. The Noah Hawley stuff isn't going to happen. There's no movies. You know, Kurtzman's fired. We hit all the greatest hits. And some of those had the hidden messages in there, and some of them didn't. We were very cautious about utilizing the hidden messages, and we were also kind of playing around with how we were going to go about utilizing the hidden message, because it's important to help build up the credibility of what it is that I'm saying right now. But it also kind of, you know, I think plays into that laugh factor of the fact that they didn't see this clearly placed hidden message in there, and they're still reporting on it like it's no big deal. So we were very cautious with that. So some of them had it, some of them didn't, and we were still playing around with kind of the placement of the words, if we were going to do every other third word, or if we were going to do them at the end, or how we were going to kind of do it. So we were just kind of testing the waters out for several months. And honestly, all of those rumors that you guys and gals were reporting on, that those folks were saying, and these are things, they were all fake. They were all fake. It's all bullshit. We made it all up. All of that stuff was just to feed into this whole, you know, I guess you could say personal bubble that a lot of you that believe in the Fandom Menace stuff, you know, kind of just want to believe. And it was all just played up so that it would kind of just feed your desires for hating on the Star Trek stuff. And it was all fake. That whole foundation was made out of House of Cards. It was all...
Starfleet is United Nations with a space navy? I agree, but that's not what conservatives see if they like Star Trek. What they see is, especially because the shows cover human-centric ships, they see a galactic federation that's basically headed by human beings as the de facto leaders, and they go around the galaxy and fight in conflicts and often are interventionalist, even though, of course, we have the idea of, like, the first, the Prime Directive. But almost every time the Prime Directive comes up in Star Trek, it comes up so the captain can break it, right? So, I don't know. Again, I think when taken as a whole, obviously Star Trek is incredibly progressive politically. I agree. What I'm saying is that conservatives will selectively try and, like, not see the progressive stuff and only view it through that lens of human-centric military organization rule of the galaxy. That's what they see. Give this man a Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Bullshit.
What's this channel's name? Ketwalski. I'll put a link to this video in the chat. If you want, like, good Star Trek content, like reviews of the new shows and stuff that doesn't get all, like, conspiracy-y and doesn't go into all the anti-SJW stuff, check this channel out. They're good.
So once that piece was established, that's when we started to say, okay, let's build up some of the more pointed kind of leaks in order to see if we can get them to catch on to this and then start to report on it. And that was going to be the phase 2 of...
But they live in a society without money? Not entirely, though, especially in Deep Space Nine. We see the value of gold-pressed latinum, right? And there are barter systems even within Starfleet, like holodeck credits or something that get traded between people who are, like, in the service. You know what I mean? Like, replicator credits, I think they've mentioned too in certain times when they've had to ration. Like, even though it's been established in earlier Trek that there is no, like, galactic, how do I put this? Even though on Earth they don't necessarily use money for certain things, that doesn't mean trade doesn't exist within the galaxy.
The plan. So phase 2, we started off with this post here. It's pretty generic in nature, We went ahead and did a subtle, kind of hide here with the hidden message, which I'll point out to you here in a second. But this was just kind of to play it up a little bit more, go a little bit beyond what we've said in the past, just to kind of push it a little bit to kind of build us up into the...
Should you watch Doctor Who or Star Trek next? Ooh, that's tough. They're both real good. I guess it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a show that gets into, like, politics and sort of speculative science fiction that involves science-based answers to problems, go Star Trek. Start with either the original series or the Next Generation. If you're looking for a show that's more science fantasy, involves a lot of fun time travel stuff, involves sort of a space Sherlock Holmes character that goes around and solves problems with often Deus Ex Machina, like, solutions to problems, then watch Doctor Who. They're both good shows.
The more ridiculous thing that we wanted them to do, because again, this is kind of like a layered situation. So we had that baseline, and then we're building up a little bit more into the phase 2 area to kind of build into the more crazy thing that we could get them to say, which again is all about just the humor factor of that particular piece of it, that element of it. So we released this one out there, and we were just kind of waiting to see what the reaction was to that, and then we were going to go ahead and release another more ridiculous one to kind of follow that up. Unfortunately, we didn't really think this was going to happen. That particular post immediately took off. So the first element of phase 2 just immediately took off. Doomcock reported on it immediately. He just gobbled it right up like the hungry hippo that he is when it comes to leaks. He just immediately started talking about it. He even went as far as to say that his source, again, he said that his other primary source validated the information that was being stated inside of this 4chan rumor.
Are things that were pulled off of the boards at a 4chan, 4channel.org. And I have had good experience with 4chan and Reddit in the past. Insiders like to go on there and spill what they know, kind of vent anonymously and get it off their chest. And I wanted to go ahead and share some of these rumors. I don't know if they're true, but they are, a lot of them, in accord with things that my sources have told me. Therefore, I am interested in sharing them with you. So let's dig in, shall we? First item on this thing, Star Trek Strange New Worlds has been canceled internally at CBS.
Which of course is not true at all.
It's a made-up tale.
All of that stuff is fake.
It's an urban legend that never happened.
And so if his other source again validated a bullshit 4chan rumor, guess what? He doesn't have another source for Star Trek. I hate to break it to you, that's not really what's going on here. He has no other source. It's not a real thing. Other than maybe somebody playing with him, I don't know. Somebody else could be having a go at him. That could be a totally separate situation. But yeah, the whole thing was fake. It was all fake. And here's the hidden message here. We went ahead and did a half cut on it because we were concerned, because I feel like they were, again, kind of picking up on the fact that the first line, the first word of everything was, it's a fake, from the original video months ago. We didn't want to do that again. We were concerned about using the first word of every sentence. We thought that was a little bit too much. We thought that was going to be a little bit too risque. So we went ahead and did the final, like the last word of every sentence, which we've done in the past with the foundation build, but we did a half cut of it just to really ensure that nobody caught on to the fact that this one was fake. But it was absolutely fake. And everybody reported on this. And to be fair, Nerdrotic did not really report on it too much. He discussed it a little bit, and he definitely kept his distance. And he has kept his distance relatively well from these kinds of things. So I think he's much more acutely aware of the fact that the majority of these things are all bullshit from 4chan, so that's really great. Mecha reported on it, of course. He reports on everything under the sun, so that was not a surprise at all. And then Midnight's Edge did a couple of live streams where they did talk heavily about these things. Now, what's interesting about Midnight's Edge here is both Andre and Rob from Midnight's Edge shared these two little bits of information in some of the threads that we had posted in regards to the leak, specifically this big one. And I don't believe this is actually them. I can't prove that it's them. Obviously, everything on 4chan is anonymous. I don't think it was actually them. I don't think they would be that stupid to say, hi, I'm Andre from Midnight's Edge. Would you like to come on our show? I don't think that they would be that dumb, especially considering the fact that they are well aware of the fact that there are many things on 4chan that are all bullshit.
Now, normally when these 4chan leak things happen, we're like, there's a lot of people who like to feed us fake bullshit to try and get us to report on it. So a lot of times we take a lot of this shit with a grain of salt. But this Emma Watts thing has really opened up like the floodgates to the possibilities of.
But I think that in this particular instance, they were, I think, really attracted to this rumor. I think that's why it's the majority of people were really attracted to this rumor, because this was that second tier level right off of the base level that we built. So after months of creating this false narrative, we released this one that was a little bit more extra in that regard. So I think everybody immediately jumped on it and they were like, this is what we've known from before. I've heard of this. This is definitely true. This is super true. I believe this 100%. This is exactly what's going on. This matches everything I've ever heard of in the past. So that happened, you know, and we kind of had enough. At that point, I think I was like, all right, we've got it. Like, this is the story. We've got it. This is perfect. They said it. They did the thing where they report bullshit, and we pretty much got it. But we decided to go a little bit further, and that's where the Ruby Rose story came into play. So that one was fake. And unfortunately, I think we went a little too far in that one. There was a lot of discussion between the two of us about who the actress was going to be inside of that, you know, paragraph. We went with Ruby Rose because we thought that would be rather interesting, and it tied right into her just leaving Batwoman, so there was a bit of a connection there, and we thought that would be a little bit better with that. Originally it was going to be Brie Larson, but we thought that was a little bit too much because they'd already rumored about her being in different Star Wars productions and stuff like that, and there were some other names that that were kind of being workshopped, you know, but ultimately we went with the Ruby Rose thing. I think it was a little bit too far. Doomcock, of course, ate that one up as well, but the other crew ultimately were like, nah, I think the majority of that is kind of bullshit, which I think is good. You know, the whole point of doing this is to get them to stop utilizing crap sources, specifically 4chan sources. And I think that videos like this that kind of reinforce the fact that these are garbage sources and that none of this stuff is really real, I think helps kind of keep the rumors down from the videos that they're doing, and also just within the fandom in general, of Star Trek fandom in general. Doomcock seems to be the only one that really doesn't care about it. He just keeps going and going and going. So that's why he was kind of the target a bit for this particular whole plan. But of course he ate up the Ruby Rose thing as well, so whatever, not a big deal there. But ultimately, after all that happened, I think we were pretty much done at that point. We were like, all right, we've got them all. They're all saying this, you know, these fake rumors. They've got all this stuff going on there. That was kind of a sufficient amount of evidence for us. We pretty much nailed it. Not a big deal. We're going to move on now. I'm going to go ahead and edit this video together. We're going to go ahead and put it all together and going to get it published out, and we'll all have a good jolly old laugh about the whole situation and kind of move on with
maybe
our
being
lives. So
the
what was interesting
Nazi
though
guy.
also about the...
Now, to be clear, he doesn't necessarily think it's true. I think it's true. So make your own decision on it.
The Ruby
like
Rose
he says
situation
later.
was a lot of people thought that the Ruby Rose story was released by CBS and, you know, the Illuminati in order to discredit the other leak, the one that the majority of the Fandom Menace actually believed from, you know, a little bit prior to that, the one we were just talking about. And, you know, I thought that was kind of funny because, again, to me, I feel like the hidden message was very obvious. And now that I've pointed it out to you, you probably can't not see it. But I thought that was kind of funny that they were like, no, this Ruby Rose thing, that's fake, and it's trying to discredit this much more credible leaker from over here. That one is much more credible. It matches everything else, and I think that one's very, very realistic. No, they're both bullshit. They're both lies. We made them both up, and we've duped you twice, and I just thought that was kind of funny that the rumors are being kind of used to defend each other and attack each other. I thought that was kind of weird that kind of morphed into that way, and that happened both on 4chan and on Twitter. I just provided one screenshot of somebody talking about that, but that was by no means the only person that said that and felt that way. So that was kind of a weird kind of situation that kind of produced from the Ruby Rose story. And so as I was editing my video together after the Ruby Rose situation, I noticed that a lot of other people kind of began to follow suit. We saw an enormous amount of other 4chan Star Trek leaks being posted up, including this one here, which was clearly written by the Fandom Menace. And you can tell that by the, you know, first several sentences here being completely bullshit and all proven completely wrong at this point. And they were mostly wrong at the time when they wrote this, but also they threw in that whole Emma Watts, Alex Kurtzman power struggle thing, which is one of their favorites. That's another Fandom Menace go-to, is the power struggle. First it was Sherry Redstone, and there was a power struggle with Kurtzman, and now it's Kurtzman versus Watts, and there's a power struggle. They love a good power struggle. They do the same thing with Kathleen Kennedy and George Lucas, and they love a good power struggle. They're very comic-esque, very, very, very dramatic, you know. And what was interesting about that one, though, it was clearly written by the Fandom Menace, just based off the fact that it has all the greatest hits. It has that weird bullshit Emma Watts thing at the bottom. But also later on, they openly, like the Fandom Menace supporters, openly were talking about how they knew the origin of this leak and that no one could possibly have known where this one came from, that they knew specifically. Yet there's only one way for you to know how and where a 4chan leak comes from. And that's either you wrote it or you were involved in the creation of it. And if this video is a representation of anything, it's How do you know that the 4chan rumors are fake? Well, you're the one that's behind them. So you openly admitting that you know exactly where this came from, there's only one way to do that, and that's by writing it yourself or being involved in the creation of it. So congratulations, you've just spoiled that for yourself, which I find to be very odd, very strange that you would do that, but whatever. So those rumors kind of continued on. They didn't really have anything to do with me, and I wasn't really super interested in them anymore. I'd already kind of gotten what I needed, which was to make this video and kind of catch them in this, kind of catch Doomcock and the rest of them kind of in this bullshit again. And that's when things got weird. That's when I was kind of going through one of the, posts that we had on 4chan, and I was looking at some of the responses, and somebody had there a line about Doomcock, and they referred to Doomcock as a different name, and they provided a BitChute link to a different content creator. Now, by kind of a general rule, I don't go to BitChute. It's like this weird alt-right conspiracy website. It's not really safe to go onto, and there's all sorts of weird shit going on over there on BitChute. Not a big fan of it, but I was kind of curious as to what this person was talking about, why they were referring to Doomcock as this other individual, and what was on the other side of this link. So before we get into what it is that I found, I want to remind everyone of that main pillar tenet that the Fandom Menace and the Fandom Menace supporters truly believe, which again, they're probably going to just act like that was not a thing after this video comes out, because it's going to damage them, I think, a little bit more than they expected. So I expect that whole thing to change. But what they believe right now is that, specifically with 4chan, that if enough people are saying similar things over an extended period of time, then there must be some validity to it. They use this argument. I'm sure some of you have even heard them say it in their videos, in their tweets, in their Facebook posts. You probably have heard these things being stated. It's very clearly part of their main pillar tenet. That's what they believe to be true in regards to these rumors and leaks, specifically in regards to 4chan. So again, if enough people say it, enough people are saying the similar things, and it's happening over a period of time on all sorts of different message boards, then there must be some validity to it. So now that that's in your mind, what I found through my various searching through 4chans and different message boards and things like that throughout the internet was a large number of people asking why nobody was talking about or bringing up the fact that Doomcock had a potential secondary channel and a secondary persona, which is, I'll say, more political.
We are faced with an enemy that has openly declared its intention to extinguish our race, destroy our civilization, and erase our memory. There is no reasoning with this enemy. They are as insane as they are inhuman. They are driven by self-loathing and the delusional dream of a communist utopia in which the Aryan race does not exist.
Now, I can't prove that that's Doomcock. Not conclusively, at least, and also by my own standards of trying to find out proof.
I think it's Doomcock.
Proof and truth sources and things of that nature. I can't prove that. But it is true that the video styles are very similar. The costumes are kind of similar. The hand gestures are kind of similar. Their speech is about saving each other's culture. Very similar. The way that they pronounce words, very, very similar. Really just a lot of the persona elements of both these two people are very similar in nature. And again, by my...
What was that? You missed the first hour of this stream was looking into these claims, and I think that guy is Doomcock. He's a neo-Nazi on BitChute. I mean that literally. He's a Holocaust-denying neo-Nazi on BitChute. And I think it's the same guy as Doomcock, just in a different costume and pitching his voice slightly differently. They gesticulate in exactly the same way, and the voices sound way too similar. They also do the same thing of claiming they have sources, whether it's Doomcock claiming that he has sources inside Disney or Paramount, or the other Nazi guy claiming he has sources inside Antifa to, like, tell him what the communists are planning. Like, he does the same thing. So I think it's Doomcock. I think he moonlights on BitChute as a Nazi.
My standards, this is wildly inconclusive. This is all very circumstantial. So some people were talking about it on 4chan for a while, and there's some kind of circumstantial similarities to all the different styles and the videos and the things that are being said and done there. But it's all very circumstantial. It's not very conclusive. It's definitely not up to my standards of something that I would call a fact. But the Fandom Menace...
If he is, he has a very different filming setup. It's literally just him in front of a green screen. Or him in front of, like, a neo-Nazi flag. With the lights dimmer. It's not that different. It's just him in front of a wall, in some costume, filming, with different lighting. It's not that dissimilar.
Logic and their own standards, this would be concrete. I've just figured it out. I've got all the sources that I need. I got plenty of people talking about it on 4chan. I've got visual evidence that seems very similar. I've got people talking about rumors in regards to it.
I think it's true. This guy doesn't necessarily. I do. I legitimately think it's the same guy.
It's all I need. That's all I would need. Do you see the point here? If you're sitting there saying to yourself right now, as a supporter of Doomcock, that what I'm saying, that he's related to this neo-Nazi nationalist, socialist, persona is bullshit. There's no way that that's the same person. It's all circumstantial. It's crap. That's good. That's what you should think, because I can't prove it, and I haven't done anything to prove it to you that that is him. But if you disagree with this, but then you follow the exact same level of proof for Star Trek rumors, then you need to look internally to yourself and figure out where your moral compass is and what your standards are for information. If you're willing to believe the Star Trek stuff just because it fits your personal narrative about why you dislike Star Trek, but this thing is,
the camera position is different. Well, yeah, he would probably have to move to a different wall. He's not necessarily going to film from the exact same angle.
Whole neo-Nazi person, individual, or whatever isn't up to your standards. That's two wildly conflicting constructs in your mind. You're all over the place. You don't get to have both. You have to choose. Either having people on 4chan talk about it over a period of time, having rumors about it, and having these circumstantial bits of evidence that I'm throwing at you is sufficient for Star Trek rumors, then it must also be sufficient for this. You don't get to do either or. It's either one or the other. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you get the point that I'm trying to make here? And a lot of you may sit there and immediately see this other persona and say, that's definitely Doomcock. I don't even need any other evidence. But again, that also is the problem, because you're just taking my word for it without even doing your own research. And yes, I'm talking to my own fans at this point, or people who don't like Doomcock and may like me. I'm talking to you too. Don't just take any word for it. Don't just take it at face value. Do your own research and figure these things out.
Which was the first hour or so of this stream. We were looking into the videos and seeing the similarities. If anyone missed it.
Again, I do want to go ahead and absolutely stress, I have no hard proof that this Commandant Base 211 person is Doomcock. But again, I'm trying to showcase and really represent the fact that you can't just accept the Star Trek rumor piece of it and think that that's okay and that's perfectly all right, and I'll just take that at face value. But then I present you the exact same level of proof and evidence about these connections between these two online personas, and you'd be completely dismissive of it. That's the point, is that you can't do one or the other. It's either you're accepting of both things or that you disagree with both things and you require more evidence as an individual. And I hope that this video is kind of showcasing that I want everyone here to take the time to really research these things and not just take anybody's word at face value, and to really dig deep and find out the answers for themselves. That's really the point of this here. I'm not trying to say that Doomcock is this person. I don't know if he...
I think he is.
He is. And if he is, whatever. Like, that's a whole separate thing. But the point here, again, is that you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't be okay with one and not okay with the other. That's a weird construct that you've conditioned your mind to feel. And I think that you need to be a little bit introspective there to realize that perhaps you're just wanting to believe in the echo chamber of anti-Star Trek stuff, and that's all you're really willing to just agree with. And if that's okay, that's where you want to live your life, that's fine. That's fine, I guess. I'm not here to try to, pull you away from it that hard, but for those of you who are on the fence and are just kind of thinking about it, this video, I hope, kind of opened your mind up in some regards to thinking about things a little bit more critically. Anyways, guys and gals, go ahead and get your comments up down below.
Anyway, this guy's interesting. Here's a link to this video if you want it. If you want to give this guy a subscribe. Again, he does decent, Star Trek stuff. I'm almost scared to look at the comments. All right, that's gonna be it. I'm gonna go get ready for D&D. So thanks everyone for coming to the stream. I'll be back tomorrow for some other stuff. It'll be fun. It's just normal Chud Watch tomorrow. I'll save this maybe for tomorrow. The Arthur thing. And then, yeah, D&D tonight. So if you watch Charisma Saves, that'll be on around 8 or so. 8 to 8:30. So thanks, everyone. Chat is valid. Have a good night, everyone.